obsolete form of anywhere. A which way, in any direction or according to any method. Any percent, a category in speedrunning which pertains to the goal of a game's mere completion, i.e. getting to the main concluding goal as quickly as possible, regardless of how much is unlocked or what techniques are used. Any and all, alternative spelling of any and all. Anyone, abbreviation of anyone. And a female given name from Russian or Ukrainian of modern usage. Anyanya, a South Sudanese guerrilla movement active during the First Sudanese Civil War. Ayat, a prefecture-level city of Henan, China. Ayawu, a surname. Ayamwas, plural of Anyanwu. Adyanya, alternative form of Anyanaya. Anybody's, plural of anybody. Anybody, any one out of an indefinite number of persons, anyone, any person. Anybody else, synonym of anyone else. Anybody who is anybody, any person who is well known or important, especially one who has prominent social standing. Anybody who is anyone, alternative form of anybody who is anybody. Anybody who's anybody, alternative form of anybody who is anybody. Anybody who's anyone, alternative form of anybody who is anybody. Anybody's, possessive form of anybody. This entry is a translation hub. Anybody's guess, synonym of anyone's guess. Anybody, I dialect spelling of anybody. Anybody, I dialect spelling of anybody. Anycast, a network addressing and routing scheme whereby data is routed to the nearest or best destination as viewed by the routing topology. Anycasting, the routing of data over a network using an anycast scheme. Anyday, non-standard form of any day. Edifant, pronunciation spelling of anything. Edific, pronunciation spelling of anything. Anyhow, 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 in any way or manner whatever. Anyhow whack, to do something hastily or randomly without real consideration or planning. Anyhowly, in any which way, haphazardly, arbitrarily. Anyhows, anyhow, a county of Nanchang, Jiangxi, China. And a more, alternative form of any more. ALA, a metamorphic rock composed of intergrown green zoisite, black t-shermachite, and ruby. Aalates, plural of any alite. Any particle that obeys a continuum of quantum statistics, only two of which are the standard Bose-Einstein and Fermi-Dirac statistics. Anyone, any person, anybody. Anyone else, any other person. Anyone who is anybody, alternative form of anybody who is anybody. Anyone who is anyone, alternative form of anybody who is anybody. Anyone who's anybody, alternative form of anybody who is anybody. Anyone who's anyone, alternative form of anybody who is anybody. Anyone's guess, a mystery, something unknown or unpredictable. Anyone's, plural of anyone. Or pertaining to anyans. Plural of anyan. Anaphene, any spider in a family and affinity. Anapheneds, plural of anaphene. At a place, at a non-specific place, anywhere. And a place else, synonym of anywhere else. anybody, anabothetin, an idea which is discovered to be true in itself or which supports itself, that which is absolutely or necessarily true, as opposed to a hypothesis requiring further support, the result or conclusion of a philosophical argument or investigation according to Plato's hypothetical method. Any road, synonym of anyway. Any roads, synonym of any road. Edisha, anyhow, anyway. Anasamicin, the spelling of anasamicin. Anything, anything. Informal spelling of anything. Anything, any object, act, state, event, or fact whatsoever, a thing of any kind, something or other. Anything but, not at all, quite the contrary of. Anything else? Any other thing. This entity is a translation hub. Anything goes. There are no rules or restrictions. Anything that moves, anything at all. Anythingarian, a person who does not profess any particular creed, an indifferentist. Anythingarianism, beliefs and practices of an anythingarian. Anythingarians, plural of anythingarian. Anythinged, simple past and past participle of anything. Anythinging, present participle and gerund of anything. Anythingism, a non-specific belief in anything or that anything goes. Anythings, plural of anything. Anythink, pronunciation, spelling of anything. At a time, at any time. Anytime now, alternative form of anytime now. Anytime soon, alternative form of anytime soon. At a day, pronunciation, spelling of anything. At a town, any non-specific, non-notable town in the USA. Alternative spelling of Anyu. Anyuan, a district of Pingsang, Jiangxi, China. Adyude, a tetragonal ditrigonal dipyramidal mineral containing antimony, gold, and lead. Anyola, alternative form of Yanua. Adas, plural of Anu. Anyway, regardless, anyhow. Anyways, in any way or respect at all. Anyway. Anyway. Ewan, whenever, at any point in time. Anywance, from anywhere. Anywhere. In or at any location. Anywhere else. In any other place. Anywhere near, at all near. Anywhere on Earth. At the moment midnight is reached in the time zone immediately east of the international dateline that is on the western hemisphere. An awareness, the state or quality of being anywhere. Anywheres, anywhere, anywhither, to in the direction of anywhere. Anywho, alternative spelling of anywho. Anywhiddles. Anyways. Anyway, for any reason. Anywise, in any case. Anywhither, archaic form of anywhither. That's initialism of Australia and New Zealand. Ella, a census-designated place in Riverside, County, California, United States. Anza-Borrego, a state park within the Colorado Desert in Southern California, United States. ANZAC, acronym of Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. ANZAC, alternative letter case form of Anzac. Anzac biscuit, a biscuit made from oats, coconut, and golden syrup. Anzac biscuits, plural of Anzac biscuit. Anzac Day, alternative letter case form of Anzac Day. Anzac Day, April 25, a public holiday in Australia and New Zealand that originally commemorated the sacrifices made by members of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps Anzac who fought at Gallipoli against the Ottoman Empire during World War I, and now honors people from those countries who have served in all wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations. Anzac Days, plural of Anzac Day. Anzac Wafer, hardtack. Anzac Wafers, plural of Anzac Wafer. Anak, plural of Anzac. Anaks, plural of Anzac. Anai, a surname from Japanese. Andais, plural of Anzai. Anzaldo, a surname from Spanish. Anzaldos, plural of Anzaldo. Anzaldo, a surname. Anzalduin, of or relating to Gloria E. Anzalduin, 1942-2004, American feminist and academic. Andalduas, plural of Anzaldua. Andalum, a surname. Andalons, plural of Anzalone. Anserba, initialism of Australia-New Zealand closer economic relations trade agreement. As, a county of Linfen, Shaanxi, China. And Ya, a transliteration of the Russian or Ukrainian female given name A and Jla and Jala. Anzianate, a particular council in some medieval Italian towns. Anzo, a coastal town and commune in Lazio region, Italy. Anzoátegui, a state of Venezuela, capital, Barcelona. And the initialism of a New Zealand prayer book. Anzo, a divine storm bird in several Mesopotamian religions. Anders, a surname from Spanish. Anderses, plural of Anders. Anzurasi, a particular steroid glycoside. Alice, a security treaty between Australia, New Zealand, and America for the Pacific region, particularly in naval affairs. Anerma, archaic spelling of anemia. And Memeal, archaic spelling of anemial. Aneras, plural of anemia. Anemic, obsolete spelling of anemic. Anemical, obsolete form of anemical. Anemically, archaic form of anemically. Anemic, plural of anemia. Anesthesia, obsolete spelling of anesthesia. Anesthesias, plural of anesthesia. Anesthesiology, obsolete spelling of anesthesiology. Anestheses, obsolete typography of anestheses. Anesthesize, obsolete typography of anesthesize. Anesthesia, plural of anesthesia. Anestet, obsolete spelling of anestet. Anestets, plural of anestet. Anesthetic, archaic spelling of anesthetic. Anesthetical, obsolete spelling of anesthetical. Anesthetically, obsolete typography of anesthetically. Anesthetation, obsolete spelling of anestetician. Anestheticians, plural of anesthetician. Anesthetics, plural of anesthetic. Anesthetization, obsolete typography of anesthetization. Anesthetizations, plural of anesthetization. Anesthetize, obsolete typography of anesthetize. Anesthetized, simple past and past participle of anesthetize. Anesthetizer, obsolete typography of anesthetizer. Anesthetizers, plural of anesthetizer. Anesthetizes, third person singular simple present indicative of anesthetize. Anesthetizing, present participle and gerund of anesthetize. Anesthetis, archaic form of anesthetist. Anesthetists, plural of anesthetist. Anesthetization, obsolete typography of anesthetization. Anesthetizations, plural of anesthetization. Anesthetize, obsolete typography of anesthetize. Anesthetized, simple past and past participle of anesthetize. Anesthetizer, obsolete typography of anesthetizer. Anesthetizers, plural of anesthetizer. Anesthetizes, third person singular simple present indicative of anesthetize. Anesthetizing, present participle and gerund of anesthetize. Anostrus, obsolete form of anostrus. Initialism of Arctic oscillation. A tribe living primarily in the state of Nagaland in India. An orthographic O with a diacritic that marks it as being the goat vowel, as in the word alone. Dai, a two-panel dress worn by Vietnamese women as a national costume. Deus, plural of Dai. 3, abbreviation of Argai. Of our own. Initialism of angle of attack. Alternative form of AOA of A. Initialism of assault occasioning actual bodily harm. Plural of AOA. As, plural of A. Any other business. Bao. Alternative form of Ovu Mongolian Karen. Initialism of Air Officer Commanding, a title used to refer to RAF officers holding certain command appointments. Aker, initialism of Age of Criminal Responsibility. Aker, plural of Aok. Plural of AOC. Initialism of above ordnance datum, used to specify heights above mean sea level on general arrangement and other technical drawings, usually specified in meters, for example plus 62.0 m. Initialism of axis of evil. AOE, alternative form of AOE A of E. One of the moons of Jupiter. Adian, of or relating to the muse Aed in Greek mythology. Plural of AOE. Abbreviation of abscissate beta-glucosyltransferase. Plural of AOG. Initialism of area of interest. A female given name from Japanese. A female given name. Eidos, an ancient Greek bard. Plural of AOI. Initialism of Atlantic occipital joint. Plural of AOJ. Alternative spelling of OK. Aoki, a surname from Japanese. Aokis, plural of Aoki. LL, initialism of America. Online. Aelbonics, the practice of talking using numbers or using short phonetic spellings as in hey everyone, how are you, as a shorthand to save on keystrokes. No, not. Owler, an internet user whose ISP is AOL. Owlers, plural of AOLer. AOL Tard, a user of the AOL Internet Service Provider. Initialism of Atitis Media. Ailment, synonym of Macau. the Mandarin Chinese-derived name especially in China's English-language media. Aomi, a neighborhood of Koto, Tokyo Prefecture, Japan. Aomori, a prefecture in northeastern Japan. Plural of AOM. Initialism of all or none order. Anna, an ancient Irish public national assembly called upon the death of a king, queen, notable sage, or warrior as part of ancestor worship practices. Aanax, plural of Aanak. Initialism of area of outstanding natural beauty, a type of conservation area. Plural of Aeon. Ania, an ancient region of Greece, possibly Boeotia, or possibly the part of Boeotia containing the mountains Helicon and Cithaeron, and thus sacred to the Muses, whom Ovid calls the Aeonides. Aeonian, pertaining to Aeonia or to the Muses, who were supposed to dwell there. Aeonians, plural of Aeonian. Aenori, synonym of green laver. Plural of Aon. Initialism of anomalous orbital object. Aoba, sound of a klaxon. Aona, alternative form of Ioga. Plural of AO. Initialism of aspect-oriented programming. Plural of AOP. AOR. Initialism of address of record. Alternative form of AOR, area of responsibility. Aorist, a verb paradigm found in certain languages, usually an unmarked form or one that expresses the perfective or aorist aspect. Aorist aspect, a temporal feature of the verb which denotes the speaker's standpoint of the event described by the verb as from outside of the event and seeing it as a completed whole. Aorist tense, a grammatical category in some languages expressing perfective aspect and past tense of verbs, the aorist. Aorist tenses, plural of aorist tense. Aoriste, of or relating to the aorist aspect. Aoristically, in the aorist aspect. Aorists, plural of aorist. Aor, plural of AOR. AORS, plural of AOR. Aor. Alternative form of aorto before a vowel. Aorta, the great artery which carries the blood from the heart to all parts of the body except the lungs, the main trunk of the arterial system. Aorti, plural of aorta. Aortal, of or relating to the aorta. Aortalgia, pain caused by an aneurysm or similar condition of the aorta. Aortally, via the aorta. Aortarchia, contraction of the aorta. Aortas, plural of aorta. Aortictasia, dilatation of the aorta. Aortic ptosis, alternative form of aortictasia. Aortic, or pertaining to the aorta or the aortic valve. Aortic arch, the curving portion of the aorta that bends between the ascending aorta and the descending aorta from which the brachiocephalic artery, left carotid artery, and left subclavian artery arise. Aortic arch syndrome, Takayasu's arteritis. Aortic arches, plural of aortic arch. Aortic rigor, aortic regurgitation. Aortic valve, the semilunar valve of the heart that lies between the left ventricle and the aorta. Aortic valves, plural of aortic valve. Aortically, with reference to or by means of an aorta. Aortico, or pertaining to the aorta. Aortopulmonary, relating to the aorta and the pulmonary artery, specifically connecting the two, as for example in a congenital heart defect whereby the septum that normally separates the two as a whole fistula in it. Aortocornal, relating to the aorta and the kidney. Aortides, plural of aortitis. Aortitis, inflammation of the aorta. Aortizes, plural of aortitis. Aorto, of or pertaining to the aorta. Aortoarteritis, a condition involving inflammation of the aorta and arteries. Aortophial, relating to the aorta and atrium. Aortobiforal, aortic and bifemoral. Aortocaval, relating to the aorta and the vena cava. Aortocaval compression syndrome, compression of the abdominal aorta and inferior vena cava by the gravid uterus when a pregnant woman lies on her back, frequently causing hypotension. Aortocoronary, relating to the aorta and the coronary arteries. Aortoduodenal, pertaining to or usually connecting the aorta and the duodenum. Aortoenteric, relating to the aorta and intestine. Aortoesophageal, relating to the aorta and the esophagus. Aortophoral, relating to or connecting the aorta and ephemeral artery. Aortogenesis, the formation of tissue of the aorta typically in the fetus. Aortogenic, that starts in the aorta. Aortogram, an image produced by aortography. Aortograms, plural of aortogram. Aortographic, of or relating to aortography. Aortographies, plural of aortography. Aortography, aortoliac, of aorta and iliac arteries. Aortoileoferal, aortic and ileoferal. Aortojejunal, pertaining to or usually connecting the aorta and the jejunum. Aortomesenteric, relating to the aorta and the mesentery. Aortomitral, relating to or connecting the aortic and mitral valves of the heart. Aortomyoplasty, a surgical procedure in which a strip of healthy muscle is wrapped around the aorta. Aortopathy, relating to aortopathy. Aortopathies, plural of aortopathy. Aortopathy, any disease of the aorta. Aortopsies, plural of aortopsy. Aortopsy, a surgical procedure in which the aortic arch is fixated to the sternum so that the tracheal lumen is pulled open. Aortoplasties, plural of aortoplasty. Aortoplasty, reconstruction of a damaged aorta. Aortopulmonary, relating to the aorta and lungs. Aortornal, relating to the aorta and kidney. Aortwaphy, suture of the aorta. Aortosclerosis, atherosclerosis of the aorta. Aortosptal, relating to the aortopulmonary septum. Aortotomies, plural of aortotomy. Aortotomy, incision into the aorta. Aortotracheal, relating to the aorta and trachea. As, initialism of American Ornithological Society. Plural of AO. As, initialism of array of structures. As, plural of AO. AOS, initialism of aspect-oriented software development. AOS is acronym of Alliance of Small Island States. AOS, initialism of Area of Special Protection. Aosta, the capital city of Aosta Valley, Italy. Aosta Valley, an autonomous region of northwestern Italy, with a significant fraction of the population speaking Franco-Provençal. Capital and largest city, Aosta. Aostan, or from Aosta in Italy. Aostans, plural of Aostan. Initialism of ahead of time. Initialism of American Opportunity Tax Credit. Great Barrier Island. Aotearoa, the North Island of New Zealand. Aotearoa, New Zealand, a bicultural name for New Zealand. Aotearoa, New Zealand, alternative form of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Aotearoa/New Zealand, alternative form of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Aotearoa, of, from, or pertaining to Aotearoa, New Zealand or its people. Aotearoans, plural of Aotearoan. Aotearoa, alternative spelling of Aotearoan. Aotearoans, plural of Aotearoan. Aotearoa, any member of the family Aotidae of night monkeys. Aotids, plural of Aotid. Howdy, initialism of album of the year music. Aoty, alternative form of Aoty of the year. Howdy, alternative letter case form of Aoty of the year. Howdy, plural of Aoty. Addies, plural of Aoty. Oh, initialism of apparent oxygen utilization. Aeunat, the Barbary sheep, Amatagus lurvia. Aeudads, plural of Aeudad. Aeulamidin, a subgroup of the Tuareg people. Alternative form of all village encampment. Aels, plural of Ael. A surname. Aons, plural of Aeon. Azur, a 40-day period between the 25th of July and the 2nd of September, characterized by high humidity and high temperatures on some days. I dialect spelling of out. Strip, a strip of land in northern Chad, lying along the border with Libya. Abbreviation of average order value. ALV, initialism of angle of view. ALVS, plural of ALV. Acronym of Advanced Open Water. Acronym of Advanced Open Water Diver. Plural of AOD. AX, abbreviation of Adsorbable Organohalides. Alternative form of AIDA of the year. ALY, alternative form of AIDA of the year. Alternative form of AIDA of the year. Inama, a surname from Japanese. Plural of AOY. ALYs, plural of ALY. As, plural of AI. An advanced placement program. Abbreviation of April. Ap Le Chau, an island of Southern District, Hong Kong. Apok, a Karam language spoken in Papua New Guinea. Apt, abbreviation of apartment. Apts, plural of apt. Alternative form of a po. Up, abbreviation of a pud, used in scholarly works to cite a reference at second hand. Other, initialism of American Pale Ale. Other, alternative form of a bat and gawa. Apatani, alternative form of apatani. Apabramsa, alternative form of apabramsha. Apabramsha, the languages of the final stage of Middle Indo-Aryan spoken during the 6th, 13th centuries c. That abbreviation of Asia-Pacific. Abes, quickly, rapidly, with speed. Apache, a town in Oklahoma, United States. See Apache, Oklahoma. Apache County, one of 15 counties in Arizona, United States. County seat, St. John's. Apache fiddle, a bowed string instrument of the indigenous Apache people of the southwestern United States, made from a plant stalk with 1 or 2 strings, often of horsehair. Apache fiddles, plural of Apache fiddle. Apache Junction, a city in Pinal and Maricopa counties in Arizona, United States. Apache plume, a desert shrub in the family Rosaceae native to the southwestern U.S. and northern Mexico, Foliage paradoxa. Apache plumes, plural of Apache plume. Apache tear, a rounded nodule of obsidian. Apache tears, plural of Apache tear. Apachean, of or relating to various groups related to the Apache people, including the Navajo, who are not usually termed Apache. Apacheans, plural of Apachean. Apachism, a warlike attitude. Apachiness, the quality or state of being Apache. Apache is, plural of Apache. Apacheta, alternative form of Apachita. Apachetas, plural of Apacheta. Apacet, a female Apache. Apacets, plural of Apachet. Apachism, alternative form of Apachism. Apachita, a stone cairn in the Andes. Apachitas, plural of Apachita. Apatite, a monoclinic blue mineral containing copper, hydrogen, oxygen, and silicon. Apachito, a surname from Navajo. Apax, acronym of Association for Payment Clearing Services. Ahadana, a large hypostyle hall in ancient Persian palaces. Apadanas, plural of Apadana. Apadanasan, a vasodilator. Apadaline, an analgesic drug. Atevia, a glans penis piercing where jewelry passes vertically through the urethra. Apadavias, plural of apadavia. Apaha, an antiplatelet drug. Apagoge, an indirect argument which proves a thing by showing the impossibility or absurdity of the contrary. Apagoges, plural of apagoge. Apadahe, proving indirectly by showing the impossibility or absurdity of the contrary. Apadavical, alternative form of apagogic. Apagotically, in an apagogic manner. Aptaha, a fan who is a writer and creator of apazines for one or more amateur press associations, especially a prolific one. Apahact, simple past and past participle of apahak. Apahacking, present participle and gerund of apahak. Apahaks, plural of apahak. Apahid, a commune and village in Cluj County, Romania. Ava, pronunciation spelling of apart. Abe, simple past and past participle of ape. Abala, a genre of Yoruba Nigerian popular music based on percussion. Apalache, a member of a Native American people who historically lived in the Florida Panhandle. Apalaches, plural of Apalachee. Apalachicola, a river in Florida, United States, which flows from Georgia to the Gulf of Mexico. Apalai, a Carib language spoken in 20 villages of Pará, Brazil. Afolala, the name of a water-dwelling Naga in Buddhist mythology. Albumin, a glycoprotein present in honey and in royal jelly. Apocyllin, a penicillin antibiotic. Abali, a Papuan language spoken in Papua New Guinea. Abalis, any of several species of birds in the genus Apalis. Apalizes, plural of Apalis. Apalat, a municipality of Pampanga, Philippines. Apala, of or relating to a persistent vegetative state. Apalotamide, a non-steroidal antiandrogen used to treat prostate cancer. Apamnapa, one of the eujrxmrni8uhbr edition. Apamea, the name of several Hellenistic cities in Western Asia after Apama, the Sagian wife of Seleucus I Nicator, several of which are also former bishoprics and Catholic titulars. See. Apamian, of or pertaining to Apamea in Syria or its region. Apamians, plural of Apamian. Apame, alternative form of Apamea. Apamian, alternative form of Apamian. Apamians, plural of Apamian. Apamine, synonym of Apamian. Apamians, plural of Apamine. Apamenian, synonym of Apamian. Apamenians, plural of Apamenian. Aphamin, a neurotoxin originally isolated from Apis mellifera, the western honeybee. Ava, alternative form of Apan. Ava, a member of an amateur press association. Apanage, a grant especially by a sovereign of land or other source of revenue as a birthright. Apanage, simple past and past participle of appanage. Appanages, plural of appanage. Appanaging, present participle and gerund of appanage. Apancreatic, pancreatic. Apanthui, fusion of the Ataridium with the Eugonium. Apinc, a town in San Salvador Department, El Salvador. Abangbi, a town in southern Sulawesi, Indonesia. Apans, plural of Apan. Apans, plural of Apan. Apansporoblaste, not pansporoblastic. Apanthropia, alternative form of apanthropy. Apanthropinization, the broadening of the ambit of one's preoccupations and concerns away from a narrow focus on those things most palpably human and most closely pertinent to humanity. Apanthropinization, alternative spelling of apanthropinization. Apanthropinizations, plural of apanthropinization. Apanthropy, a dislike of human company, love of solitude. Apento, an extinct Caribbean language. Apantomancy, divination by chance meetings with any objects that present themselves, most commonly animals, for example, the superstition associated with the black cat crossing one's path. Paracetaminophenolacetaminophene/paracetamol/Tylenol, a particular kind of painkiller and fever reducer generally available over the counter. Apapine, a member of the bright red species of honeycreeper, Himation sanguinea, found in Hawaii. Apapins, plural of apapane. Apapores, a river of the Valpais Department, Colombia. Apapransa, a Ghanaian food made from palm nut soup and cornmeal. Apapsis, alternative form of apopsis. Avar, acronym of active phased array radar. Of our, the three-banded armadillo, Taliputes matacus. Aperolactane, any snake of the subfamily Aperolactini now Africtaspidini. Aperolactanes, plural of aperolactine. Aperometric, not derived from parameters. Aberan, a town in Aragatsatin, Armenia. Aperaphise, lacking paraphyses. Aperacetemic, alternative form of aperacetemic. Aperacytemia, the temporary absence of parasites in the blood. Aperacytemic, having no parasites in the blood. Aparathyroid, not parathyroid. Aparathyroidism, absence of the parathyroid glands. Aparecida de Goiânia, a city and municipality of Goiás, Brazil. Apergio, a kind of pack saddle formerly used in the United States military and in Latin America, made of leather stuffed with hay, moss, or similar substances. Apergios, plural of apergio. Apergios, plural of apergio. Aberunia, the inability to perform sexual intercourse as a result of a physical or psychological sexual dysfunction. Aberunias, plural of aperunia. Aberunic, of or relating to aperunia. Aparizio, a surname. Aparizios, plural of aparizio. Aperigraha, the genus principle of greedlessness or not having unnecessary possessions. Aperithmesis, the enumeration of parts or particulars. Abera, a surname from Sicilian. Aberi, a municipality of Cagayan, Philippines. Avar, plural of apar. Abars, plural of apar. Abars, placed separately in regard to space or time. Apart from, except for, besides, postposition apart. Aparto, alternative spelling of apartel. Aparto, alternative spelling of apartel. Apartels, plural of apartel. Apartel, a budget hotel. Apartels, plural of apartel. Apartals, plural of apartal. Apartheid, the policy of racial segregation in South Africa from 1948 to 1990. Apartheid anthem, the call of South Africa. Apartheid Cly, a nickname for South African-born tech entrepreneur Elon Musk. Apartheid Defense League, the Anti-Defamation League. Apartheid Flag, alternative letter case form of apartheid flag. Apartheid flags. Plural of apartheid flag. Apartheid South Africa, derogatory name for South Africa, a country in southern Africa, used approximately from 1948 to 1991 when the apartheid policy was enforced. Some definitions may include pre-1948 and extended to 1994. Apartheid wall, a separation barrier built by the Israeli government in the West Bank. Apartheid, simple past and past participle of apartheid. Apartheider, a proponent of the apartheid system. Apartheiders, plural of apartheider. Apartheidesque, similar to the system of apartheid. Apartheide, pertaining to apartheid. Apartheiding, present participle and gerund of apartheid. Apartheidization, alternative spelling of apartheidization. Apartheidish, resembling apartheid. Apartheidism, the system or concept of apartheid. Apartheidist, a proponent of apartheid. Apartheidiste, of or pertaining to apartheidism. Apartheidists, plural of apartheidists. Apartheidization, the process of apartheidizing. Apartheidize, to increase the apartheidistic nature of. Apartheidized, simple past and past participle of apartheidize. Apartheidizes, third person singular simple present indicative of apartheidize. Apartheidizing, present participle and gerund of apartheidize. Apartheid-like, resembling or characteristic of apartheid. Apartheidness, the condition or quality of being like apartheid. Apartheids, plural of apartheid. Apartheid, apartheid. Aparthotel, a form of hotel having self-catering apartments instead of bedrooms or suites. Aparthotels, plural of aparthotel. Apartment, a complete domicile occupying only part of a building, especially one for rent, a flat. Apartment block, apartment building. Apartment blocks, plural of apartment block. Apartment building, a residential building containing multiple apartments or flats. Apartment buildings, plural of apartment building. Apartment complex, a set of buildings containing many apartments and ancillary functions. Apartment complexes, plural of apartment complex. Apartment hotel, a serviced apartment complex that uses a hotel-style booking system. Apartment hotels, plural of apartment hotel. Apartment house, synonym of apartment building, any building comprising apartments. Apartment houses, plural of apartment house. Apartment sat, simple past and past participle of apartment sit. Apartment sit, alternative form of apartment sit. Apartment sits, third person singular simple present indicative of apartment sit. Apartment sitting, present participle and gerund of apartment sit. Apartment sat, simple past and past participle of apartment sit. Apartment sit, to live in and take care of someone's apartment while they're away. Apartment sits, third person singular simple present indicative of apartment sit. Apartment sitting, present participle and gerund of apartment sit. Apartmental, of or relating to apartment buildings. Apartmentless, without an apartment. Apartment-like, resembling or characteristic of an apartment. Apartment mate, someone who shares an apartment. Apartment mates, plural of apartment mate. Apartments, plural of apartment. Apartments to let, the condition of being stupid or crazy. Apartness, the state or quality of being apart. Apartnesses, plural of apartness. Apartado, an apartment rented out to guests in the manner of a hotel room. Apartados, plural of apartodal. Of the, plural of APA. Of that, a barangay of Cebu City, Cebu, Philippines. Apastatin, a statin that inhibits an aminoptidase. Apastabac, a town in San Vicente Department, El Salvador. Apastra, plural of apastron. Apastron, the point of greatest separation between a celestial object and the star which it orbits. Apastrons, plural of apastron. Apatani, an ethnic group inhabiting the Zairo Valley of Arunachal Pradesh's lower Subansiri region in India. Apatladid, any moth of the family Apatladidi. Apatladids, plural of apatladid. Apatmid. Any extinct male in the family Apatmi. Apatmids. Plural of apatmid. Atia. A state of mind in Stoic philosophy in which one is free from emotional disturbance, the freedom from all passions. Atheism. Apathy towards the existence of a God. Belief that the question of the existence of a God is unimportant. Atheist. A person who does not care about the existence of a God or gods. A supporter of apatheism. Atheists. Plural of apatheist. Apathist. An apathetic person, one given to apathy. Apathetes. Plural of apathete. Apathetic. Void of feeling, not susceptible of deep emotion. Apathetical. Synonym of apathetic. Apathetically. In an apathetic manner. Apatheticness. Apathy, quality of being apathetic. Atathe. Synonym of apathetic. Apathies. Plural of apathy. Apathism. Synonym of apathy. Apathist. One who has no feeling towards anything, or more specifically religion. Apathistical. Apathetic and emotional. Apathists. Plural of apathists. Apathize. To make apathetic or insensible. Apathized. Simple past and past participle of apathize. Apathizes. Third person singular simple present indicative of apathize. Apathizing. Present participle and gerund of apathize. Apathogenic. Not pathogenic. Apathogenicity. The condition of being apathogenic. Apathy. Lack of emotion or motivation. Lack of interest or enthusiasm towards something. Disinterest in something. Apatino. A tyrosine kinase inhibitor that selectively inhibits the vascular endothelial growth factor receptor 2. Apatite. A calcium fluoride phosphate of variable composition, sometimes used in the manufacture of fertilizer as a gemstone and in powdered form as a pigment, and also produced biologically in bones and teeth. Appetites. Plural of appetite. Appetitic. Relating to, containing, or having the structure of appetite. Apatophagy. Any sea urchin of the family Apatophagidae. Apatophagids. Plural of apatophagid. Apatosaur. A large, herbivorous, gregarious sauropod dinosaur of the genus Apatosaurus from Jurassic North America. It had a long neck and tail. Apatosauri. Plural of Apatosaurus. Apatosaurian. Any sauropod of the subfamily Apatosaurinae. Apatosaurians. Plural of Apatosaurian. Apatosaurs. Plural of Apatosaur. Apatosaurus. A large sauropod dinosaur of the genus Apatosaurus of the late Jurassic period, having a long neck and tail and a relatively small head. Apatosauruses. Plural of Apatosaurus. Apatothurian. Any extinct mammal of the suborder Apatothurius sole family. Apatmiidae. Apatothurians. Plural of Apatothurian. Apatovian. In the style of filmmaker Judd Apatow. Apatow. A surname. Apatos. Plural of Apatow. Apachuria. Ancient Greek festivals held annually by most of the Aeonian towns with banqueting, discussions, etc. Apodesma. Radiance, glory. Apome. Alternative form of apome. 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 Apaxiphiline, a neuroprotective drug. To satisfy, please. A barangay of Layag, Ilocos Norte, Philippines. Apao, a province of the Cordillera Administrative Region, Luzon, Philippines. Capital, Cabugao. The province was created from the partinioning of Kalingapao. Abang, present participle and gerund of ape. Apes, third person singular simple present indicative of ape. Ambaza, a surname from Spanish. Apelian, a periodical created by a member of an amateur press association for distribution to all of its members. Apazians, plural of apazine. Apaziquone, an indolquinon that is a bireductive prodrug and a chemical analog of the older chemotherapeutic agent mitomycin C. Apazone, an anti-inflammatory agent 5-dimethylamino-9-methyl-2-propylburazolo 1,2,1,2,4-benzotriazine 1,3-dione used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. Initialism of all points bulletin. Plural of APB. Initialism of armored personnel carrier. Initialism of a monopolycarboxylic acid. Plural of upcat. Initialism of armor-piercing capped ballistic cap. Plural of apt. Initialism of air pollution control district. Plural of apt. Apner. Initialism of armor-piercing composite non-rigid. Apner. Plural of apner. Abka. Initialism of Association of Public Safety Communications Officials International. Initialism of ammonium perchlorate composite propellant. Aptver. Initialism of armor-piercing composite rigid. Aptver. Plural of apker. Plural of APC. Initialism of antisocial personality disorder. Apdelwap, a surname. Initialism of armor-piercing discarding sabot round. Plural of APD. Initialism of antimicrobial photodynamic therapy. Initialism of all praises due to Allah. Initialism of application protocol data unit. Plural of updo. Initialism of alkyl phenyl ethoxylate. A primate of the clade Hominoidea, generally larger than monkeys and distinguished from them by having no tail. Ape girl, alternative form of apey girl. Ape hanger, alternative form of apey hanger. Ape hangers, plural of ape hanger. Ape leader, an old maid. Ape leaders, plural of ape leader. Ape shit, alternative spelling of apeshit. Ape bearer, a person, usually a buffoon, who strolls or carries a monkey around for exhibition. Ape bearers, plural of ape bearer. Ape fisher, synonym of a fence belt. Ape fishers, plural of ape fisher. Ape pearl, alternative form of apey girl. Ape mem, alternative form of ape men. Ape men, plural of ape man. Ape people, plural of ape person. Ape person, a non-human Australopithecine, an ape-like precursor to modern humans. Ape persons, plural of ape person. Edik, in a vertical line, the cable having been sufficiently stove and to bring the ship over it. EBAC, a regional trade agreement between Australia, Canada, Chile, China, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Peru, Russia, South Korea, Taiwan under the name Chinese Taipei, Hong Kong, the US, and members of ASEAN. EBAC, alternative form of APEC. That's simple past and past participle of ape. Apidal, a hamlet in Newcastle-under-Lyme Borough, Staffordshire, England. OS Grid Ref SJ 8149. Apid isolate, not having a pedestal. Edo, the quality or state of being an ape. Ave, alternative form of apic. Ape affirmative action, affirmative action that benefits black people. Apiflies, plural of apifly. Apifly, a small lichenid butterfly native to South and Southeast Asia, Spalbis epius, whose pupa is said to look like a monkey's face. Apifrica, alternative spelling of Apefrica. Apefrica, Africa. Apifrican, African. Apifricans, plural of Apifrican. Apegirl, a young apewoman. Apegirls, plural of apegirl. Apetanger, a handlebar on a motorcycle positioned higher than the rider's shoulders. Apehangers, plural of apehanger. Eput, the state or essence of being an ape. Ape, present participle and gerund of ape. Apero, Aperogon, a type of generalized polygon with a countably infinite number of sides and vertices. Aperogonal, having the form of an aperogon. Aperogons, plural of aperogon. Aperohedra, plural of aperohedron. Aperohedron, a polyhedron with an infinite number of faces. Aperohedrons, plural of aperohedron. Andaron, a kind of infinite primal chaos in the cosmological theory of Anaximander. Aperophobia, the fear of infinity and / or eternity. Atheism, the belief in the existence of an infinite number of gods. Aperodope, a generalized polytope having infinitely many facets. Aperodopes, plural of aperodope. Apikind, apes taken collectively. Apalanta, derogatory name for Atlanta, a major city, the capital and largest city of Georgia, United States. Apeldoorn, a city in Gelderland, Netherlands. Apellet, a young ape. Apellets, plural of apellet. Ape-like, similar to an ape in appearance or movement. Apelin, a peptide that is the endogenous ligand for the G-protein coupled APJ receptor. Apelinergic, produced or activated by apelin. Apeling, a small, young, or immature ape. Apelings, plural of apeling. Apeliats, the Greek god of the southeast winds. Apelios is often depicted wearing gumboots and carrying fruit. Abel, the popular deliberative assembly in the ancient Greek city-state of Sparta corresponding to the ecclesia in most other Greek states. Ipoli, an initiation family festival which was dedicated to Apollo. Abels, a master artist. Apoloid, any capuchin monkey of the species Cephas apella or of the new genus Sapagis. Apoloids, plural of apoloi. Apelus, not covered by skin, set of a circumcised penis, which has had its profuse foreskin removed. Apomatozoic, not pelmatozoic. Epli, of, relating to, or characteristic of apes, simian. Edaman, a prehistoric man resembling an ape, especially one held to be a precursor to modern humans, a non-human Australopithecine. Apimen, plural of apimen. Appendicularian, misspelling of appendicularian. Adnas, the quality or state of being an ape. Apennine, or pertaining to the Apennines. Apennine Mountains, the Apennines. Apennine Peninsula, synonym of Italian peninsula. Apennine wolf, synonym of Italian wolf. Apennine wolves, plural of Apennine wolf. Apennine yellow-bellied toad, Bombina pachypus, a species of toad found in Italy. Apennine yellow-bellied toads, plural of Apennine yellow-bellied toad. Apennines, a mountain range in Italy, stretching 1,200 km from the north to the south of the country, along its east coast, traversing the entire Apennine Peninsula, and often called the spine of Italy. Apenninic, synonym of Apennine. Alternative form of Apophis. Epepsia, alternative form of apepsy. Apepsias, plural of apepsia. Apepsinia, the absence of pepsin in the body. Epepsy, defective digestion, indigestion. Epeptate, having or relating to apepsy. Eber, someone who apes something. Ebert, upon a perch. Apercu, alternative spelling of aperçu. Aperçu, a clever insight. Apergus, plural of apercu. Apersus, plural of aperçu. Iperia, Cavia iperia, the Brazilian guinea pig. Aperias, plural of aperia. Aperus, an arrest or incident of an arrest of a black person. Aperisted, simple past and past participle of aperus. Aperisting, present participle and gerund of aperus. Aperists, plural of aperists. Apericu, a cube-shaped cheese-based food usually eaten with an aperitif. Apericubes, plural of apericu. Aperid, any slug in the family Chlamydiformes, formerly known as the aperidae. Aperids, plural of aperid. Aperient, having a gentle laxative effect. Aperients, plural of aperient. Aperies, plural of aperi. Aperiodic, that does not recur periodically. Aperiodical, aperiodic. Aperiodically, in an aperiodic way. Aperiodicities, plural of aperiodicity. Aperiodicity, the condition of being aperiodic. Aperiostale, that does not involve the periosteum. Aperispermic, having no albumin around the embryo of the sea. Peristalsis, absence of peristalsis. Aperitif, alternative form of aperitif. Aperitif. An alcoholic drink served before a meal as an appetizer. Aperitif wine, grape wine, mixed with brandy or alcohol, with natural flavors including herbs and optionally with caramel for color that matches the general description of aperitif wine but not a vermouth. Aperitif wines, plural of aperitif wine. Aperitifs, plural of aperitif. Aperitifs, plural of aperitif. Aperitif, tending to open the bowels, aperient. Aperitives, plural of aperitive, aperitivo, an Italian aperitif. Apero, a barangay of tapas, Capiz, Philippines. Aperol, an Italian aperitif made with gentian, rhubarb, and cinchona. Aperol Spritz, a variant of the Spritz cocktail using Aperol as bitters. Aperol Spritzes, plural of Aperol Spritz. Apers, plural of Aper. Aperspectival, lacking perspective. Apers, open, uncovered, revealed. Apert syndrome, a form of acrocephalus syndictally. Aberration, the act of opening. Aversions, plural of aberration. Apersive, causing the body to open, dissolving blockages, or having a purgative or diuretic effect. Aperitivs, plural of aperitive. Avertly, openly, publicly, without secrecy. Avernus, openness, frankness. Apertometer, an instrument designed to measure the numerical aperture of a lens or objective of a microscope. Apertometers, plural of apertometer. Aperture, the dehiscence of anthers. Apertural, relating to an aperture. Aperturally, in an apertural manner. Aperturate, having one or more apertures. Aperture, a small or narrow opening, gap, slit, or hole. Aperture membrane, section of exine forming the base of an aperture. Aperture membranes, plural of aperture membrane. Aperture priority, a setting in many professional grade and advanced amateur grade cameras which allows a photographer to manually set the aperture setting of an exposure while the camera then automatically selects the correct shutter speed for that exposure. Aperture priority, alternative form of aperture priority. Aperture, having an aperture or a specified type of aperture. Apertureless, without an aperture. Apertures, plural of aperture. Apiary, a place where apes are kept. Apiary's constant, the number zeta 3 equals sum n1/n3, where zeta is the Riemann zeta function, with a value of approximately 1.20205669. Plural of ape. Apis, plural of ape. Ape assault, an assault perpetrated by a black person. Ape assaults, plural of ape assault. Apis, an evil ancient Egyptian god of night who had the head of a turtle or tortoise. Epishes, out of control due to anger or excitement. Epichets, plural of apichet. Episona, a persona that is an ape. Apisonas, plural of apisona. Apes, a female ape. Apesses, plural of apes. Apetalide, apetalos. Apetalos, alternative form of apetalos. Apetalos, having no petals. Apetalousness, the state or quality of being apetalous. Apetal, the condition of having no petals. Apetempt, an attempt of a black person, especially something in relation to criminal activity. Apetempted, simple past and past participle of apetent. Apetempting, present participle and gerund of apetempt. Apetempts, third person singular simple present indicative of apetempt. Ava, a half-benewerth. Apis, plural of apith. Apidales, without a Petiole. Aperture. Misspelling of aperture. Apomen. A female apomen. Apomen. Plural of apomen. EBEX. Acronym of Advanced Purchase Excursion and Airfare. EBEX. The highest or the greatest part of something, especially forming a point. Apex Court. A Supreme Court. Apex Courts. Plural of Apex Court. Apex Fallacies. Plural of apex fallacy. Apex fallacy. The informal fallacy of evaluating a population based only on its apex, its best members. Apex predator. An animal atop the food chain, preying on another animals and not itself preyed upon. Apex predators. Plural of apex predator. Apex time. An indication of the optimal dwell time for ultrafiltration. Apex cardiogram. A diagnostic image produced by apex cardiography. Apex cardiograms. Plural of apex cardiogram. Apex cardiographic. Relating to apex cardiography. Apex cardiography. A non-invasive procedure for recording movements of the precordium in order to measure the beat in the cardiac apex. Apex. Having an apex with a pointed end. Apexes. Plural of apex. Apexification. The promotion of tooth root development by deposition of mineral tissue. Apexifications. Plural of apexification. Apex site. A colorless triclinic mineral containing hydrogen, magnesium, sodium, oxygen, and phosphorus. Apex sites. Plural of apex site. Apexogenesis. Calcification of the apex of a tooth in order to encourage root formation. Apextrin. An extracellular protein associated with larval ectoderm evolution in some sea urchins. Initialism of animal protein factor. Apfelstrudel. Applestrudel. Apfelstrudels. Plural of apfelstrudel. Apps. Initialism of apple file system. F. Plural of APF. Apists. Initialism of armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot round. Apists. Plural of apists. F. Any classification of the angiosperms conforming to the publications of the angiosperm phylogeny group. Apt Roman 2. The classification of the angiosperms in the second 2003 publication by the Angiosperm phylogeny group as distinct from previous and subsequent APG classifications published beginning in 1998. Appearance, pulse, grimace, activity, respiration used to remember how to give a newborn an UPGAR score. A Dutch or North German surname transferred from the given name. UPGAR score. A 0 to 10 point score given to newborns based on their UPGAR vitals. UPGAR scores. Plural of UPGAR score. And a initialism of antepartum hemorrhage. Abbreviation of American Paint Horse Association. Aphasia. Dated form of aphakia. Aphasios. Plural of aphasia. Ahase. Dated form of aphakic. Apharesis. Plural of apharesis. Apharesis. Alternative spelling of apharesis. Apherete. Of the nature of apharesis. Aphadia. The condition of difficulty in swallowing. Aphages. Plural of aphagia. Aphadi. Having or relating to aphagia. Aphagapraxia. Difficulty swallowing, dysphagia. Aphadi. inability to feed due to anatomical deficiencies. Athachia, the absence of the lens of the eye, causing hyperetropia and a loss of accommodation. Aphakiel, pertaining to or exhibiting aphakia, aphakic. Aphakias, plural of aphakia. Athake, exhibiting aphakia, lacking the lens of the eye. Aphakics, plural of aphakic. Aphalangia, the absence of a phalanx bone in one or more digits. Ahalha, a congenital condition in which the phallus is absent. Aphalic, not having a phallus penis. Aphananthes, inconspicuous. Aphanendi, the condition of having inconspicuous flowers. Aphanasai, synonym of Clenicles. Any pupfish of the genus Aphanius. Avariadis, plural of Aphania. Aphanafir, having microaphanid. Ground nesses. Aphanipterus, of or pertaining to fleas of Aphaniptera, a former classification of insects. Aphanases, the disappearance of sexual desire, supposed to be the foundation of all neuroses. Aphanite, certain dark igneous rocks having grains so fine that the individual crystals cannot be seen with the naked eye. Aphanites, plural of aphanite. Ahanete, pertaining to aphanites, igneous rocks composed of microscopic mineral crystals, fine grains too small to be visible to the naked eye. Aphanisophil, a carotenoid found in certain algae and cyanobacteria. Aphanosaur, any reptile of the Aphanosauria clade. Aphanosaurs, plural of aphanosaur. That one who has aphantasia. Aphantasia, a condition where one does not possess a functioning mind's eye and cannot visualize imagery. Aphantasiac, a person who has aphantasia. Aphantasiacs, plural of aphantasiac. Aphantag, exhibiting or relating to aphantasia. Aphantasics, plural of aphantasic. Aphantasme, afflicted with aphantasia. Aphantic, of a rock sample, compact, crystalline, and too fine-grained in texture for its constituents to be identifiable. Aphantachilla, any crab spider in the family Thomasidae, formerly known as the Aphantachillidae. Aphantachillids, plural of aphantachillid. That's plural of aphant. Afferendate, mepherendate. Aphea, a partial or total loss of language skills due to brain damage, usually damage to the left paracilian region, including Broca's area and Wernicke's area, causes aphasia. Aphasia, alternative form of aphasic. Aphasiacs, plural of aphasiac. Aphaias, plural of aphasia. Affected by or pertaining to aphasia. Aphasically, in an aphasic manner. Aphasics, plural of aphasic. Aphasiological, of or relating to aphasiology. Aphasiologically, in terms of aphasiology. Aphasiologist, one who studies or practices aphasiology. Aphasiologists, plural of aphasiologists. Aphasiology, the study of linguistic problems resulting from brain damage. Aphasmid, lacking phasmids. Aphasmids, plural of aphasmid. Ahai, dated form of aphasia. Ahai, of or relating to aphasia. Avatics, plural of aphatic. Aphalandra, any of the tropical evergreen shrubs in the genus Aphalandra. Aphalandrus, plural of Aphalandra. Aphalustraceae, a particular steroid glycoside. Aphalench, any of the genus Aphalenchus of nematodes. Aphalenchid, any nematode of the order Aphalenchidae. Aphalenchids, plural of Aphalenchid. Aphalenchoidid, any nematode of the superfamily Aphalenchoididea. Aphalenchoidids, plural of Aphalenchoidid. Aphalench, plural of Aphalench. Aphalia, plural of Aphelion. Aphalia, relating to the Aphelion. Aphalia, relating to Aphelion. Aphelias, plural of Aphelia. Aphalinid, any member of the family Aphalinidae of parasitic wasps. Aphalinids, plural of Aphalinid. Aphalini, any wasp of the subfamily Aphalininae. Aphalinines, plural of Aphalinine. Aphalion, the point in the elliptical orbit of a comet, planet, or other astronomical object where it is farthest from the sun. Aphalions, plural of Aphelion. Aphalid ape, turning away from the sun, set of leaves, etc. Aphalid apically, in an apheliotropic way, away from the sun. Aphaliotropism, the tendency to bend away from sunlight, as some plants do, negative phototropism. Aphalicine, any extinct mammal of the subfamily Aphalicinae. Aphelion, synonym of aphelion. Aphema, a type of aphasia in which the ability to speak is lost or severely impaired. Aphemias, plural of aphemia. Apheme, of, relating to, or afflicted with aphemia. Aphenotypic, not phenotypic. Aphanthosphobia, a morbid fear of being touched. Aphophobia, alternative form of haphophobia. Aphercotropism, the movement or growth of an organism away from an obstruction. Apheres, obtained via apheresis. Aphereses, plural of apheresis. Apheresis, elision, suppression, or complete loss of a letter or sound syllable from the beginning of a word, such as the development of special from especial. Apheresize, having apheresis. Aphoretic, U.S. standard spelling of aphoretic. Apheses, plural of aphesis. Isis, the loss of the initial unstressed vowel of a word. Aphe, the planet that has the most influence on a person's life. Aphetus, plural of apheta. Aphe, of, relating to, or formed by aphesis. Aphetically, in an aphetic way, through aphesis. Aphetism, the aphetized form of a word, i.e. a word which has dropped its initial vowel or syllable, such as squire or vanguard. Aphetisms, plural of aphetism. Aphetize, to shorten by aphesis. Aphetize, having undergone aphesis, the removal of an unstressed initial vowel. Aphetizes, third person singular simple present indicative of aphetize. Aphetizing, present participle and gerund of aphetize. Aphicidal, that kills aphids. Apheci, any pesticide intended to kill aphids. Aphecides, plural of apheci. Aphid, a sap-sucking insect pest of the superfamily Aphidoidea, an aphidian. Aphid lion, the larva of the green lacewing. Aphid lions, plural of aphid lion. Aphid midge, a small dipterous insect aphid eats aphidimisa, the larva of which feeds on various aphids. Aphid midges, plural of aphid midge. Aphid wolf, synonym of aphid lion. Aphid wolves, plural of aphid wolf. Aphides, plural of aphides. Aphidian, like an aphid. Aphidians, plural of aphidian. Aphidicide, any man-made substance that kills aphids. Aphidicides, plural of aphidicide. Aphidicolin, a tetracyclic diterpene antibiotic with antiviral and antimitotic properties. Aphid, any member of the family Aphidae of aphids. Aphidids, plural of aphidae. Ide, any parasitic wasp in the former family Aphididae, now considered to be part of the Brachynidae. Ide, plural of Aphidae. Ide, any of the subfamily Aidae of parasitic wasps. Ides, plural of Aphidae. Aphiding, any of the subfamily Aidae. Aphidines, plural of aphidine. Aphidias, of or relating to aphids. Aphidivorous, feeding on aphids. Aphid-like, resembling or characteristic of an aphid. Aphidlian, alternative form of aphid lion. Aphidlians, plural of aphidlian. Aphidi, any aphid of the superfamily Aphidoidea. Aphidoids, plural of aphidoi. Aphidological, relating to aphidology. Aphidologist, one who studies aphidology. Aphidologists, plural of aphidologists. Aphidology, the study of aphids. Aphidomorph, any insect of the inverter Aphidomorpha. Aphidomorphs, plural of aphidomorph. Aphidophagus, feeding on aphids. Aphidophagy, the condition of being aphidophagous. Aphidozer, a device like a hopperdozer for the removal of aphids. Aphidozers, plural of aphidozer. Aphids, plural of aphid. A philanthropy, absence of love for humankind, loathing of people. A philosophical, not philosophical, without philosophy. A highs, an aphid. A hliga, an imperfect or irregular leaf ending commonly found on ferns. Avle, plural of aphlebia. Avleo, relating to the aphlebia. Aphlogist, flameless. Apho, a person who fears or has a negative perception of asexual and or aromantic people. Aphobes, plural of apho. Aphobia, fearlessness or lack of fear. Apode, any beetle of the severely Apodini family Scabidi. Apode is plural of aphode. Aphode, or pertaining to the Aphodini subfamily of scab beetles. Aphonia, loss of voice, the inability to speak. Avonius, plural of aphonia. Avani, of relating to or exhibiting aphonia, unable to speak. Avonix, plural of aphonic. Aphanes, plural of aphany. Aphanized, unpronounced. Anas, without a voice, voiceless, aphonic. Dated form of aphonia. Aphoresis, misspelling of aphoresis. Aphoria, barrenness, female sterility. Aphorize, to create an aphorism from. Aphorize, simple past and past participle of aphorize. Aphorizer, an aphorist. Aphorizers, plural of aphorizer. Aphorizes, third person singular simple present indicative of aphorize. Aphorizing, present participle and gerund of aphorize. Aphorism, a concise, terse, laconic, or memorable expression of a general truth or principle. Aphorismatic, aphorisme. Aphorismed, simple past and past participle of aphorism. Aphorismer, a dealer in aphorisms. Aphorismers, plural of aphorismer. Aphorismi, plural of aphorismus. Aphorisme, relating to aphorisms or having the form of an aphorism. Aphorismical, aphorisme. Aphorisming, present participle and gerund of aphorism. Aphorismos, synonym of excommunication. Aphorisms, plural of aphorism. Aphorismus, a figure of speech that questions whether a word is properly used, as in how can you call yourself a man? Aphorist, a person who creates or recites aphorisms. Aphoristic, of relating to or containing aphorisms, epigrams, or maxims, gnomic. Aphoristical, alternative form of aphoristic. Aphoristically, in an aphoristic manner. Aphoristicity, the state, quality, or condition of being aphoristic. Aphoristicness, the state, quality, or condition of being aphoristic. Aphorists, plural of aphorists. Aphorize, alternative spelling of aphorize. Aphorize, simple past and past participle of aphorize. Aphorizer, alternative form of aphorizer. Aphorizers, plural of aphorizer. Aphorizes, third person singular simple present indicative of aphorize. Aphorizing, present participle and gerund of aphorize. Aphosphorosis, a deficiency disease, especially of domestic cattle caused by inadequate intake of dietary phosphorus and marked by lameness, scouring, and loss of appetite. Aphotic, having no light, especially no sunlight. Aphotic zone, that part of the deep body of an ocean or lake that receives insufficient sunlight for photosynthesis to be possible. Aphotic zones, plural of aphotic zone. Aphotometer, not adjusting position with respect to light. Aphototactic, not exhibiting phototaxis. Aphototropic, not phototropic. Aphototropism, the peppy of being phototropic. A rat, a female given name. Of rammer, a surname. Aphrasia, condition of being unable to speak. Aphrasias, plural of aphrasia. Aphrodophy, any plant that does not require any groundwater. Aphrododrid, any fish in the family Aphrododridae, the pirate perches. Aphrododrids, plural of aphrododrid. Aphrenia, stoppage of thought, inability to think. Arise, a foliated or chocolate like variety of calcite. Aphrodea, a festival celebrating the goddess Aphrodite held throughout ancient Greece, but of particular importance in Attica and Cyprus. Aphrodisiac, arousing or intensifying sexual desire, Aphrodisiacal. Of or relating to an aphrodisiac, having aphrodisiac properties. Aphrodisiacs, plural of aphrodisiac. Aphrodeion, pertaining to the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Aphrodeias, a Hellenistic Greek city in the historic Caria cultural region of Western Asia Minor, today's Anatolia in Turkey. Aphrodisiomania, an abnormal enthusiasm for sexual pleasure. Aphrodisium, any of various ancient cities associated with Aphrodite. Aphrodistic, synonym of Aphroditic. Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty and love, born when Cronus castrated his father, Uranus, and threw his genitalia into the sea. Aphrodite, obsolete form of Aphrodite. Aphrodite giant, a large domestic cat breed from Cyprus. Aphrodite giants, plural of Aphrodite giant. Aphrodite Terra, one of the 3 continental regions on the planet Venus. Aphrodite's giant, alternative form of Aphrodite giant. Aphrodite's giants, plural of Aphrodite's giant. Aphroditic, of or pertaining to Aphrodite. Aphroditiform, any polychaete worm of the family Aphroditiformia. Aphroditiforms, plural of Aphroditiform. Aphrodite, the analog of the geoid for the play Venus, the Venusian geoid, the gravitational and rotational equipotential surface for Venus, the surface that provides the datum line, the equivalent for sea level for Venus. Aphroditoids, plural of Aphroditoid. Aphroditopolitan, of or relating to the ancient city of Aphroditopolis. Aphroditus, a male Aphrodite from Cyprus, represented as a herm with a phallus, who in later mythology became known as Hermaphroditus, the son of Hermes and Aphrodite. Aphrometer, a device used to measure the pressure within a bottle of sparkling wine. Aphrometers, plural of aphrometer. Aronea, the lack of practical judgment. Aphrophord, any spittlebug in the family Aphrophordae. Aphrophorids, plural of aphrophort. Aphtha, candidiasis, oral thrush, thrush fungal infection of the mucous membranes of the mouth caused by any species of yeast from the genus Candida. Avi, plural of aphtha. Aphthartodosti, a 6th century non-Chalcedonian sect who believed that Christ's body was always incorruptible and only perished by Christ's conscious, willing decision. Aphthartodocetic, of or relating to the Aphthartodosti. Aphthartodocitism, the doctrines of the Aphthartodosti, a Christological doctrine that taught that Christ's body was naturally incorruptible and not subject to physical suffering, associated with the 6th century Monophysite theologian Julian of Halicarnassus. Aphthartodostis, a follower or proponent of Aphthartodocitism, the Christological doctrine that taught Christ's body was naturally incorruptible and not subject to physical suffering, associated with Julian of Halicarnassus. Aphthartodostis, plural of Aphthartodostis. Are they of or relating to aphtha? Aphthiolite, an evaporite consisting of mixed potassium and sodium sulfates, also found in the fumaroles of volcanoes. Aphthiolites, plural of aphthiolite. Aphtoi, of or resembling aphtha thrush. Apthai, a letter or combination of letters employed in spelling a word but not pronounced, a silent letter or polygraph. Aphthangal, being or relating to an aphthan. Aphthangia, an inability to speak caused by muscular spasms. Aphthangs, plural of aphthan. Aphthosis, aphtous stomatitis. Aphtous, of or relating to aphtha. Aphtous stomatitis, the condition of having aphtous ulcers. Aphtous ulcer, an ulcer in the mouth caused by a break in the mucous membrane. Aphthous ulcers, plural of aphthous ulcer. Aphthovirus, any of a group of viruses of the genus Aphthovirus responsible for diseases such as foot and mouth. Aphthoviruses, plural of aphthovirus. Aphylactic, of a map projection, neither conformal or equilaria. Aphilophoracous, that do not consume leaves. Aphilophoralian, belonging to the order Aphilophorales of fungi. Aphilophori, any fungus of the obsolete order Aphilophorales. Aphilophoroids, plural of aphilophoroi. Avelus, alternative form of aphilus. Avalus, having no leaves, leafless. Apheli, leaflessness. Avenid, any fish in the family of Idae. Avenids, plural of aphaeane. Aferer, not porphyritic, having few or no phenocrysts. Aphysiologe, alternative form of aphysiological. Aphysiological, not physiological. Aphareses, plural of apharesis. Apharesis, alternative form of apharesis. Apharetic, obsolete spelling of apharetic. Initialism of active pharmaceutical ingredient. A mountain of the Himalayas. In the western part of Nepal, near the border of Tibet. Atheidona, an information table found on cans of motor oil conforming to U.S. standards, which indicates the weight, viscosity, and type of oil. The central circle provides the oil viscosity rating IE 10W50, while the upper annulus section provides the oil type IE. That's a B. API donuts, plural of API donut. API gravities, plural of API gravity. API gravity, a specific gravity scale measuring the relative density of various petroleum liquids expressed in degrees. API service symbol, synonym of API donut. API service symbol, synonym of API donut. API service symbols, plural of API service symbol. API service symbols, plural of API service symbol. AVI unit, a unit of radioactivity used for measuring natural gamma rays in the ground. AVI units, plural of API unit. AVI, forming terms related to bees or honeybees. Ada, the capital city of Samoa. APAS, of or relating to the family Apiaceae, including the carrots. Apian, relating to bees. Apians, plural of apian. Apiarian, pertaining to bees or beekeeping. Apiarians, plural of apiarian. Apiaries, plural of apiary. Apiarist, vetiver. Apiaristic, of or pertaining to beekeeping or beekeepers. Apiarists, plural of apiarists. Apiary, a place where bees and their hives are kept. Ed-enter, a beekeeper. Ed-etters, plural of apiator. Ad, initialism of advanced programmable interrupt controller. Ava, only used in apic acid. Apic acid, an esterified 14C-labeled fatty acid found in bee venom. Apic acids, plural of apic acid. Ava, alternative form of apico before a vowel. Apical, of or connected with the apex. Apical ancestor, in kinship and descent, a common ancestor from whom a lineage or clan may trace its descent. The ancestor who is at the apex of the genealogy. Apical ancestors, plural of apical ancestor. Apical annulus, an annulus near the top of a mushroom's stem. Apical dendrite, a dendrite that emerges from the apex of a pyramidal cell. Apical dendrites, plural of apical dendrite. Apical ectodermal ridge, a formation of ectodermal cells that occurs at the distal end of each limb bud and functions as the primary signaling point to secure the proper development of a limb. Apical ectodermal ridges, plural of apical ectodermal ridge. Apical germ pore, a small pore in the outer wall of a fungal spore which is located at the spore apex opposite the hilar appendage and used for germination. Apical germ pores, plural of apical germ pore. Apicalization, the process or the result of apicalizing. Apicalize, to make apical. Apicalization, alternative spelling of apicalization. Apicalize, to make apical or to move to an apical position. Apicalized, simple past and past participle of apicalize. Apicalizes, third person singular simple present indicative of apicalize. Apicalizing, present participle and gerund of apicalize. Apically, in an apical manner or direction towards an apex. Apicalmost, most apical. Aticals, plural of apical. Apicalwards, towards an apex. Apicectomies, plural of apicectomy. Apicectomy, alternative form of apicoctomy. Apicella, a surname from Italian. Apicellas, plural of apicella. Apices, plural of apex. Apician, of or pertaining to Marcus Gavius Apicius, a notorious Roman epicure. Apicide, the killing of bees. Apicidin, a fungal metabolite that is an inhibitor of histone deacetylase. Apicidins, plural of apicidin. Apicifics, set of anthers that are attached to the filament at the top and pointing back toward the filament like a hook. Apicifloral, having the flowers at the apex. Apicillary, synonym of apical relating to the apex. Apicitus, inflammation of the apex of an anatomical part. Apicabac, alternative form of picabac. Apico, having a shape that has a tip, point, or apex. Apical, pointy. Apicoalveolar, alternative form of apicoalveolar. Apicodental, alternative form of apicodental. Apicoalveolar, articulated with the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge. Apicabasal, relating to an apex and a base. Apicabasally, in an apicabasal manner. Apicabasolateral, apical and basolateral. Apicocardiac, located at the apex of the heart. Apicocomplexan, misspelling of apicomplexan. Apicocoronal, of or pertaining to the apical and coronal aspects of a tooth, the root apex and the crown, as usually, more specifically, being on the longitudinal axis of the tooth defined by those poles. Apicocoronally, in apicocoronal position. Apicodental, made with the apex of the tongue touching the upper front of the teeth as an apicodental stop. Apicodentals, plural of apicodental. Apicodistal, apical and distal. Apicodistally, in an apicodistal manner or direction. Apicodorsal, apical and dorsal. Apicoctomies, plural of apicoctomy. Apicoctomize, to carry out an apicoctomy. Apicoctomized, simple past and past participle of apicoctomize. Apicoctomy, an endodontic surgical procedure whereby a tooth's root tip is removed and a root and cavity is prepared and filled with biocompatible material. Apicolabial, lingualabial. Apicolabials, plural of apicolabial. Apicolateral, apical and lateral. Apicolaterally, in an apicolateral manner. Apicolingual, relating to the tip of the tongue. Apicolysis, excision of the apex of an anatomical part, typically lung or tooth. Apicomedial, apical and medial. Apicomplexan, describing protists of the phylum Apicomplexa. Apicomplexans, plural of apicomplexan. Apicopaletal, articulated with the tip of the tongue against the palate. Apicoplast, a relict non-photosynthetic plastid found in most of the apicomplexa, proposed to have evolved via secondary endosymbiosis and surrounded by 4 membranes within the outermost part of the endomembrane system. Apicoplastic, relating to apicoplasts. Apicoplasts, plural of apicoplast. Apicopostalveolar, articulated with the tip of the tongue touching the back of the alveolar ridge. Apicoposterior, apical and posterior. Apicoprepalatal, articulated with the tip of the tongue against a spot just to the front of the palate. Apicortin, a protein present in apicomplexan parasites. Apicortins, plural of apicortin. Apicosptal, relating to an apicosptum. Apicostum, an apical septum. Apicostums, plural of apicosptum. Apicotarsus, an apical tarsus. Apicoventral, apical and ventral. Plural of apic. Apicular, situated at or near the apex, apical. Apiculate, having a short, sharply pointed tip. Apiculated, apiculate. Apiculately, in an apiculate manner. Apiculation, a short, sharply pointed tip. Apiculations, plural of apiculation. Apicule, a short apiculate projection, a spicule. Apicules, plural of apicule. Apiculi, plural of apiculus. Apicultural, relating to beekeeping. Apiculturalists, a beekeeper. Apiculturalists, plural of apiculturalists. Apiculture, the keeping and maintenance of bees for commercial reasons. Apiculturist, a beekeeper. Apiculturists, plural of apiculturists. Apiculum, a short, slender, flexible point. Apiculus, the part of a spore which attaches to the sterigmata at the end of a basidium. Apid, anime in the family Hidi. Apida, acronym of Asian, Pacific Islander, Daisy, American. Apidicen, the family of Geolpethas present in bees. Apidicens, plural of apidicen. Apida, plural of apida. Apidictor, an instrument which measures and records the sounds in a beehive. Apidictors, plural of apidictor. Apidological, alternative form of apiological. Apidology, synonym of melitology. Apids, plural of apid. Apis, each by itself, for or to each one. Apiaces, into pieces, as under. Apivacture, the production of honey by bees. Apiform, having the shape of a bee. Apiforal, the flavanol 2,2,4-hydroxyphenyl 3,4-dihydro 2-H-chrome 4,5,7-triol. Apigenin, a flavone found as a glycoside in many plants that reverses the adverse effects of cyclosporine. Apigeninidin, the deoxyethicidin, ceredoxy, pelagidin 5,7-dihydroxy 2,4-hydroxyphenyl benzopyrrolium. Apigenins, plural of apigenin, a chemical compound isolated from parsley and celery and whose glycone is apigenin. Epikoros, a Jewish skeptic or apostate. Epikorsum, plural of epikoros. Epikoros, alternative form of epikoros. Apilamide, the pharmaceutical drug Ne3-methylphenylmethylamino 6-morpholin 4-il-2,2-pyridine 2-il-lithoxypyrimidine 4-amine. Abumania, an excessive interest in bees. Apimicin, a glycosyl flavone 5,7-dihydroxy 6,4-hydroxy 6-methyl-5-oxo 3,3,4,5-dihydroxy 6-methyloxin 2-il-oxyoxin 2-il-2,4-hydroxyphenyl chrome 4,1 found in maize silks. Apinagae, alternative form of apinae. Apinagae, alternative form of apinae. Apinae, an ethnic group of Brazil. A bench, pinching so as to pinch. A pie, relating to bees. Ape, present participle and gerund of ape. Apings, plural of aping. A penoi, clean, not dirty. Adia, synonym of akpateshigane, an alcoholic drink. Adiose, any fly in the family Apiosei. Abioseids, plural of Abiosei. Abiophorenos, the furanose form of Abios. Abiophorenoses, plural of Abiophorenos. Abiophorenosel, any radical derived from an Abiophorenos. Abiogalacturonin, a form of galacturonin containing apiose and apiobiose groups. Apiogalacturonins, plural of apiogalacturonin. Ayabucose, a glucoside of abiose. Adiablucosides, plural of apiabucose. Hello, an olorsin extracted from parsley. Hello, a phenylpapine found in the essential oil apial of parsley. Abialic acid, an organic compound with chemical formula CHO6. Aeological, relating to apiology. Aeologist, a person who studies apiology, the science of bees and honey making. Aeologists, plural of apiologists. Aeology, the scientific study of bees and honey making. Aeolus, plural of apial. Ariomine, adiasesim agrathetrape aviomerini. Adenid, any weevil of the family Avdianidae. Adenids, plural of apianid. Adeos, a branch-chain sugar, 3-C-hydroxymethyl-D-glycerotros that occurs in parsley and many other plants. Adeoses, plural of atheos. Adease, any glycoside of ape. Adeasids, plural of apiaceae. Adeasol, any radical derived from apios. Aeosolate, to metafy by the addition of an aviasyl article. Adesolated, simple past and past participle of abiosylate. alternative form of epitherapy. However, initialism of automatic private IP addressing, a safety mechanism in dynamic host client processing to assign IP addresses within a given range when the main DHCP mechanism fails. Abethily, pollination by bees. Abevo, an epiphobic person. Epithobes, plural of epipho. Epiphobia, an inordinate fear of bees. Epiphobias, plural of epiphobia. Epiphobic, pertaining to or afflicted with epiphobia, the fear of bees. Epipuncture, the sting of a bee as a supposed therapy. Anyways, plural of API. EBISA, acronym of Asian Pacific Islander, South Asian American. EBISA, plural of APISA. Advesh, resembling or characteristic of an ape. Apishamor, a saddle blanket. Apishamors, plural of apishamor. Apishly, in an apish manner, in the manner of an ing. Apismes, the quality or state of being apish. Apistevis, someone who rejects using faith as a legitimate method to reach conclusions. Apistevis, plural of apistevis. Apistogramine, any cichlid of the genus Apistogramma. Apistogramines, plural of apistogramine. Other, initialism of armor-piercing incendiary tracer. Epitherapeutic, relating to epitherapy. Epitherapy, the medical use of bee products such as honey, pollen, propolis, royal jelly, and bee venom. Epipdong, a barangay of Najin, Oriental Mindoro, Philippines. Epidongs, plural of epitong. Epiterism, tourism involving bee-related activities such as visiting an apiary. Epiteris, someone who practices epiterism tourism involving bee-related activities. Epiterists, plural of epiteris. Epidexen, the venom found in a honeybee's sting. Abetas, alternative form of pitupat with quick beating or palpitation. Epituitarism, the lack of a pituitary or the loss of its function. Epivore, an organism that eats or consumes bees. Epivores, plural of epivore. Epivorous, that feeds on bees. Abex, aggregate path index. Apectavin, an anticoagulant drug for the treatment of venous thromboembolic events. Abella, a style of pizza endemic to New Haven, Connecticut, incorporating a thin, oblong crust, charring, oregano, and tomato sauce, but only a small amount of grated Parmesan cheese. Abella, plural of apizza. Abjani, a monoclinic prismatic mineral containing aluminum, hydrogen, manganese, oxygen, and sulfur. App, an APK file, or an Android app distributed via APK files. Apkalo, a mythical sage or demigod referenced in Akkadian cuneiform inscriptions, sometimes part man and part fish. Upkalis, plural of upkalu. Ow, initialism of acute promyelocytic leukemia. Ablazantal, lacking a placenta. Aplacoforan, any benthic mollusk of the class Aplacophora. Aplacophorans, plural of aplacophoran. Ablaya, a lens that has been corrected for spherical aberration and coma in order to produce a rectilinear image. Aplanatic, free from or corrected for spherical aberration and chromatic aberration. Aplanetism, lack of spherical aberration. Aplanats, plural of a planet. Ableno, immobile, fix. Aplanochytrid, any marine pest of the family Aplagitidae. Aplanochytrids, plural of aplanochytrid. Aplanogamete, a non-motile gamete found in certain lower algae. Aplanogametes, plural of aplanogamete. Aplanospore, an immobile spore that may nevertheless potentially grow flagella. Aplanospores, plural of aplanospore. Aplanozygote, a zygote that has no flagella. Aplanozygotes, plural of aplanozygote. Aplasia, a condition marked by the incomplete development or entire absence of an organ or tissue. Aplasias, plural of aplasia. Aplastic, relating to aplasia. Aplastic, relating to aplasia. Aplastic anemia, alternative spelling of aplastic anemia. Aplastic anemia, a rare disease in which the bone marrow and the hematopoietic stem cells that reside there are damaged, causing pancytopenia. Aplastitic, lacking plastids. Aplatonic, that feels little or no platonic attraction to others and or desire for queer platonic relationships. Aplavira, a drug being developed to treat HIV infection. Apla, action pour les enfants, a Cambodian anti-pedophilia NGO. Apleni, in a generous or over large quantity. Appler, a programmer who uses APL. Appleritic, not pleurotic. Applers, plural of apler. Upwye, a hamlet and civil parish in West Lindsey District, Lincolnshire, England. OS Grid Ref TF 1175. Upland, a surname. Uplendor, a drug that acts as a partial agonist selective for the dopamine receptor D2. Uplens, plural of uplin. Uplite, a fine-grained granitic rock composed mostly of quartz and feldspars. Uplites, plural of uplite. Uplitic, composed of or relating to uplite. Ava, alternative form of haplo. Aploptinid, any fish in the family Aploptinidae. Aploptinids, plural of aploptinid. Aplochelid, any killifish in the family Aplochelidee. Aplochellids, plural of aplochelid. Aplocheloi, any killifish of the suborder Aplochelloidae. Aplochelloids, plural of aplocheloi. Aplochitonid, any fish in the family Aplochetonidae, now considered part of the family Galaxiae. Aplochitonids, plural of aplochitonid. Aplodactylid, any marble fish in the family Aplodactylidae. Aplodactylids, plural of aplodactylid. Aplodontid, any member of the family Aplodontidae, mountain beavers and their extinct relatives. Aplodontids, plural of aplodontid. Avlodontia, any member of the Avlodontidae family of rodents. Avlodontids, plural of aplodontia. Aplomato, ellipsis of Aplomato falcon. Aplomato falcon, a medium-sized falcon of species Falcofemorales of the Americas. Aplomato falcons, plural of aplomato falcon. Aplomatos, plural of aplomato. Avla, self-confidence, poise, composure. Alamas, plural of aplomb. Avdon, a brown or green variety of andradite containing manganese. Aplostiminus, alternative form of hapless dominance. Apodaxine, the unsaturated aliphatic hydrocarbon 8Z11Z14Z heptaca 1,8,11,14 tetrene present in the roots of burdock. Aplauso branch, Edioviflazavangia. Aplauso branch, plural of aplauso branch. Aplauite, a monoclinic prismatic pink mineral containing cobalt, hydrogen, manganese, nickel, oxygen, and sulfur. ADLS, initialism of advanced pediatric life support. AL, plural of APL. Abluster, an ornamental appendage of wood at the stern of a Roman ship, usually spreading like a fan and curved like a bird's feather. Aplusters, plural of apluster. Aplustrid, any sea snail of the family Aplustrid. Aplusturids, plural of aplustrid. Upline, obsolete spelling of applied. Apwea, any sea slug of the genus Aplysia. Aplysianen, any of a small group of antibacterial and antineoplastic glycoproteins present in sea slugs of the genus Aplysia. Aplysianens, plural of Aplysianen. Apweyas, plural of Aplysia. Aplysadixin, a cyanotoxin produced by Aplysia californica. Aplysae, any sea hare in the family Aplysidae. Aplysides, plural of Aplysiae. Aplysioviolin, a purple-colored molecule secreted by sea hares of the genera Aplysia and Dolabella to deter predators. Aplysulfurin, the benzopirin derivative 2s, 6R8AS, 6-methyl-7-oxo-5-1-1,3-3-trimethylcyclohexyl 2,6-7-8-tetrahydrofurofour-3-2-ij isochrome 2-il acetate found in a sea slug of the genus Goniabranchus. Initialism of arbitrage pricing model. An Austronesian language spoken in Vanuatu. Initialism of acute promyelocytic leukemia. Initialism of acute posterior multifocal placoid pigment epitheliopathy. Plural of APM. The cessation of breathing, most often in reference to transient instances thereof during sleep. Apnea, alternative form of apnoe. Plural of apnea. Apneic, exhibiting or relating to apnea, no longer breathing. Apneis, a free diver. Apneists, plural of apneis. Apneumatic, devoid of air, free from air, or affected by or with exclusion of air. Apneumatosis, 8 lactoses. Apneumor, any substance produced by non-living material that benefits a recipient species but is detrimental to a different species associated with the non-living material. Apneumons, plural of apneumum. Abnuminous, without lungs. Abnorthes, an abnormal pattern of breathing characterized by deep, gasping inspiration with a pause at full inspiration followed by a brief, insufficient release. Apnoste, or relating to apneuses. Abbreviation of Alliance Party of Northern Ireland. AVEC, initialism of Asia Pacific Network Information Center. Alternative form of apnea. Apnoe, plural of apnea. Apnoe, of or characterized by apnea. Apnea, plural of apnea. Apnoe, alternative spelling of apneic. Agnosticism, synonym of apatheism. Avens, Initialism of Apple push notification service. The obsolete spelling of upnea. Upno, obsolete form of upnoel. Abinoe, obsolete spelling of upnake. Aba, Air Post Office, both Army and Air Force. Aba, in an inactive, unbound state. Apokoyu, a blend of two asyndetically connected clauses through a lexical word that has two syntactical functions, one in each of the blended clauses. Aba, lacking, without, scant. Apoequorin, an apoprotein found in the photoprotein equorin. Apoequorins, plural of apoequorin. Apopes, and apopsis. Apopsides, plural of apopsis. Apopsis, the point of a body's elliptical orbit about the system's center of mass, where the distance between the body and the center of mass is at its maximum. Aporian, apopsis around Mars. Alternative form of aporian. Apostra, plural of apostron. Apostron, alternative form of apastron. Apostrons, plural of apostron. Apotropi, the alkaloid 8-methyl cyclo 3.2.1 octan 3L2-phenyl pop 2-inote. Apobaramin, a group of similar holobaramins. Apobaraminic, of or relating to an apobaramin. Apobaramins, plural of apobaramin. Havarian, the furthest point of an astronomical object in an elliptical orbit to the center of mass of the system. Ahavarians, plural of apabarian. Apobacinoside, a particular steroid glycoside. Apobiaceae, a particular steroid glycoside. Apocomodulin, the apoprotein form of comodulin that lacks a central calcium atom. Apocomodulins, plural of apocomodulin. Apocalypse, the written account of a revelation of hidden things given by God to a chosen prophet. Apocalypses, plural of apocalypse. Apocalypse, one who predicts an apocalypse. Apocalypse, plural of apocalypse. Apocalypse, one who predicts an apocalypse. Apocalyptic, a war relating to an apocalypse. Apocalyptic number, number of the beasts. Apocalyptic numbers, plural of apocalyptic number. Apocalyptica, writings which are apocalyptic or which are about an apocalypse. Apocalyptical, apocalyptic. Apocalyptically, in an apocalyptic manner. Apocalyptician, one who believes in a coming apocalypse. Apocalypticians, plural of apocalyptician. Apocalypticism, alternative letter case form of apocalypticism. Apocalypticisms, plural of apocalypticism. Apocalypticist, a person who holds or expresses an apocalyptic view. Apocalypticist, plural of apocalypticist. Apocalyptics, plural of apocalyptic. Apocalyptism, apocalypticism. Apocalyptus, one who predicts an apocalypse. Apocalyptus, plural of apocalyptus. Apocalypse, plural of apocalypt. Apocanacea, a particular steroid glycoside. Apocarotenoid, a carotenoid found in spinach and citrus fruits. Apocarotenols, plural of apocarotenol. Apocarotenoi, Any compound formed by the removal of fragments of the carbon backbone, usually by oxidative cleavage of a carotenoid. Apocarotenoids, plural of apocarotenoid. Apocar, a carpel of an apocarpous plant. Apocarpium, obsolete form of apocarp. Apocarpus, having carpels that are not joined. Apocarps, plural of apocarp. Apocarpi, the quality of being apocarpus. Apocartoresis, suicide by starvation. Apocatastasis, plural of apocatastases. Apocatastases, restoration, renovation, reestablishment. Apocatastatic, relating to apocatastases. Apocenter, the furthest point of an astronomical object in an elliptical orbit to its center of attraction, the principal focus of the ellipse. Apocenters, plural of apocenter. Apocenter, alternative form of apocenter. Apocenters, plural of apocenter. Apocentric, of or pertaining to the apocenter, the point in an orbit which is furthest from the orbited body. Apocentricity, the property of being apocentric. Apocentromeric, away from a centromer. Apocerloplasmin, the apoprotein of ceruloplasmin. Apochromat, a kind of lens corrected for chromatic and spherical aberration. Apochromate, alternative form of apochromatic. Apochromatic, corrected for both chromatic aberration and spherical aberration. Apochromatism, freedom from both chromatic aberration and spherical aberration. Apochromats, plural of apochromat. Apocodyne, an alkaloid with chemical formula CH2, prepared from codyne, with effects like those of apomorphine. Apocalpia, plural of apocalpium. Apocalpio, relating to a region bounded by calpi. Apocalpium, the region near the pole of some pollen grains which is bounded by the lines connected the carpal apices. Apocalypse, misspelling of apocalypse. Apocopate, shortened by apocope, lacking a final sound or syllable. Apocopated, apocopate. Apocopates, third person singular simple present, indicative of apocopate. Apocopating, present participle and gerund of apocopate. Apocopation, a word formed by removing the end of a longer word. Apoccupations, plural of apocupation. Apocope, the loss or omission of the last vowel in a word, together with any consonants that follow it. Apocopes, plural of apocope. Apocopte, of or pertaining to apocope, lacking a final sound or syllable. Apocrenate, a salt of apocrenic acid CHO. Apocrenates, plural of apocrenate. Apocrine, of or pertaining to an apocrine gland or to its mode of secretion, which involves the budding of portions of the secreting cells. Apocrine gland, any of several coiled, tubular glands that extrudes part of the cytoplasm as a secretion. Apocrine glands, plural of apocrine gland. Apocrinitis, the formation of abscesses in the sweat glands. Apocrysaria, plural of apocrysarias. Apocrysarius, a high-ranking ecclesiastical deputy or other official. Apocrysaries, plural of apocrysarii. Apocrysarii, plural of apocrysarius. Apocrysarius, a high diplomatic representative, approximately equivalent to a papal nuncio. Apocrysarii, and apocrysarius. Apocracies, script, Technical response. Apocryton, any insect of the suborder Apocrita. Apocrytons, plural of apocryton. Apocrypha, that group of works which formed part of the Septuagint, but not of the Hebrew canon recognized by the Jews, and which is considered by some Christians to form an authentic part of Scripture, but which is rejected by others, namely by Protestants. Apocryphal, of or relating to the Apocrypha. Apocryphalists, a member of the group who supported the inclusion of the Apocrypha in the Bible. Apocryphalists, plural of apocryphalists. Apocryphally, in an apocryphal manner. Apocryphalness, the state or condition of being apocryphal. Apocryphier, one who rewrites history to their own advantage or tells self-aggrandizing falsehoods. Apocryphiers, plural of apocryphier. Apocryphon, synonym of apocrypha. Apocynaceous, of the family Apocynaceae, which contains the periwinkle and oleander. Apocyneus, relating to or resembling the daubanes of the genus Apocynum. Apocymon, a derivative of acetophanon that occurs in many plants. It has some potential medicinal properties. Apocyntian, the point in an orbit around the moon that is most distant from that body. Apocyte, a multinucleate cell. Apocytes, plural of apocyte. Apocytheria, plural of apocytherian. Apocytherian, a poulpus around Venus. Apoceia, plural of apocidium. Apoceal, synonym of apocitic. Apocitic, relating to apocytes, multinucleate and unicellular. Apocidium, a multinucleate mass of protoplasm that lacks a distinct cell membrane. Apocydochrome, any form of a cytochrome that is lacking the heme unit. Apocydachromes, plural of apocydochrome. Apocytosis, an abnormal increase in the number of apocytes. Aphi, abbreviation of astronomy, picture of the day. Aphi, lacking feet, apodal. Apodaca, a surname. Apodacas, plural of apodaca. Apodation, any holothurian of the subclass Apodacea. Apodations, plural of apodation. Apoda, without feet or foot-like body parts, legless. Apodals, plural of apodal. Apod, alternative form of apod. Apodictic, affording proof, demonstrative. Apodictical, apodictic. Apodictically, in an apodictic manner. Apodictics, plural of apodictic. Apodixis, alternative form of apodixis. Apodina, alternative form of apodeme. Apodinal, synonym of epidemic. Apodines, plural of apodema. Apodium, an ingrowth of the arthropod exoskeleton, serving as an attachment site for muscles. Apodiems, plural of apodium. Apodemic, a kind of methodical guidebook for travelers, offering practical advice and instructions on what to see. Epidemics, plural of epidemic. Aptodes, plural of apode. Apodia, the congenital absence of feet. Apodiavolosis, a lowering to the rank of a devil. Apodict, an apodictic proposition, a non-mathematical axiom. Apodictic, in controvertible, demonstrably true or certain. Apodictico, apodictic, being clearly demonstrable, certain. Apodictically, in an apodictical manner. Apodicticity, the state of being apodictic. Apodictism, apodictic character, tendency, or pretension. Apodictisms, plural of apodictism. Apodicta, apodictic. Apodix, plural of apodic. Apod, any member of the family Apodidae of swifts. Apodids, plural of apodid. Apodiform, belonging to the order Apodiforms, including swifts and hummingbirds. Apodeiaxis, emphatic rejection or dismissal of an opponent or an opposing proposition. Apodization, alternative form of apodization. Apodizations, plural of apodization. Apodized, alternative form of apodized. Apoditrision, any micromoth of the clade Apoditrigia. Apoditrisions, plural of apoditrision. Apodixis, full demonstration or showing, absolute and incontrovertible proof. Apodization, any of several techniques to modify the form of a mathematical function or of a spectrum etc. by smoothing or removing irregularities. Apodizations, plural of apodization. Apodize, to remove or smooth a sharp discontinuity in a mathematical function. Apodize, simple past and past participle of apodize. Apodizer, any of several devices that permit apodization of an optical or electrical signal. Apodizers, plural of apodizer. Apodizes, third person singular simple present indicative of apodize. Apodizing, present participle and gerund of apodize. Apodoses, plural of apodosis. Apodosis, the consequential clause in a conditional sentence. Apodate, of or pertaining to apodosis. Apodus, apodal. Api, plural of apod. Apods, plural of apod. Atadepsis, the act of gazing at a person and imagining them naked, a mental undressing. Apedateria, plural of apedaterium. Apedaterium, the apartment at the entrance of the baths or in the palestra for getting undressed. Apedateriums, plural of apedaterium. Aponzymatic, relating to aponzymes. Aponzyme, an inactive haloenzyme lacking a cofactor. Aponzymes, plural of aponzyme. Apoetical, not poetical. Apophenchine, an unsaturated monocyclic hydrocarbon with the chemical formula C9H. Apoferment, aponzyme. Apoferments, plural of apoferment. Apophoretin, part of the ferritin that is not combined with iron. Apophoretins, plural of apophoretin. Apoflavoxin, the apoprotein of flavodaxin. Apoflavoxins, plural of apoflavoxin. Apoflavoprotein, the apoprotein of a flavoprotein. Apoflavoproteins, plural of apoflavoprotein. Apophocus, apocenter of pabarien. Apophocuses, plural of apophocus. Apoform, the form of an apoprotein. Apoforms, plural of apoform. Apode, alternative form of apogic. Apogalactic, of or pertaining to an apogalacticon. Apogalacticon, the point in the orbit of a star at which it is furthest from the center of its local galaxy. Apogalacticons, plural of apogalacticon. Apogalacticum, the farthest place in the galaxy. Apogamic, of or relating to apogamy. Apogamically, by means of apogamy. Apohymus, relating to apogamy. Apogamy, asexual reproduction of a fully formed plant directly from a bud. Apogastropod, any sea snail of the infraclas apogastropoda. Apogastropods, plural of apogastropod. Apogeo, connected with the apogee, apogic. Apogean, connected with the apogee. Apogee, the point in an orbit about the Earth that is farthest from the Earth, the apopsis of an Earth orbiter. Apogee, alternative spelling of apogee. Apogees, plural of apogee. Apogees, plural of apogee. Apogic, pertaining to the apogee. Apogeny, inability to reproduce sexually as a result of destruction of the male and female organs. Apogeotropic, opposite to geotropic. Apogeotropically, in an apogeotropic manner, of leaves and other botanical structures in a manner that bends away from the ground. Apogeotropism, an apogeotropic tendency, the tendency to bend away from the ground. Apoglobin, a form of a globin that lacks a heme unit. Apoglobins, plural of apoglobin. Apogonid, any of the family Apogonidae of large-headed, marine, percoid fishes with oblong and compressed bodies. Apogonids, plural of apogonid. Apogranite, a granite that has a high concentration of albite. Apograph, a copy or transcript of a manuscript called the antigraph. Apographal, of or relating to the apograph of a manuscript. Apographic, of or relating to the apograph of a manuscript. Apographs, plural of apograph. Apoharmi, an alkaloid, CH8N2 derived from harmic acid that behaves similarly to harmine, but that has greater solubility in water. Apoval, ellipsis of apohel asteroid. Apohel asteroid, an asteroid whose orbit lies completely within the orbit of the Earth. Apohel asteroids, plural of apohel asteroid. Apovals, ellipsis of apohel asteroids, plural of apohel. Apohemoglobin, the apoprotein of hemoglobin. Apohemoprotein, the apoprotein of a hemoprotein. Apohemoproteins, plural of apohemoprotein. Apophyre, in an orbit around the planet Mercury, the point that is most distant from Mercury. Apohermian, apopsis around Mercury. Apoherms, plural of apoherm. Apoiel, of or pertaining to a portion of the horn of the hyoid bone. Apohydrogenase, the apoprotein of a hydrogenase. Apohydrogenases, plural of apohydrogenase. Apoiosine, synonym of aposcopolamine. Apoi, synonym of apoidian. Apoidian, relating to bees of the superfamily Apoidea. Apoinducer, a protein that binds to DNA to activate transcription, particularly in positive gene control mechanisms. Apoinducers, plural of apoinducer. Apois, poised, balance. Apogeo, apopsis around Jupiter. Apogeos, plural of apogeo. Apokatastasis, plural of apokatastases. Apokatastases, alternative form of apokatastases. Apokatastatic, alternative form of apokatastatic. Apokanu, a blending of two sentences through a common word which has two syntactic functions, one for each of the sentences. The word common to both sentences is often a predicate object in the first and a subject in the second. Apokava, any ancestral deity in medieval mythology and religion. Apokron, alternative form of apokron. Apokron, apopsis around the planet Saturn. Apokrons, plural of apokron. Apolactophorin, the iron-free form of lactoferrin. Apolar, having no polarity. Apolarity, the condition of being apolar. Apolally, in an apolar manner. Apolastic, dedicated to enjoyment. Apolastics, the philosophy of the pleasurable. Apol, a village and commune of Mureș County, Romania. Apolie, any siphonopher of the family Apolmidae. Apoliades, plural of Apolmiad. Apollina, the smallest of the 4 inhabited islands of Samoa. Apollima Strait, a strait that separates the Salmon Islands of Savai'i and Upolu. Apollinar, a surname from Spanish. Apollinario, a surname from Spanish. Apollinarios, plural of Apollinario. Apollinars, plural of Apollinar. Apolipophorin, any of a group of apolipoproteins that function in lipid transport and lipoprotein metabolism. Apolipophorins, plural of apolipophorin. Apolipoprotein, any polypeptide or protein that can serve as an apoprotein by binding with a lipid to form a lipoprotein. Apolipoproteins, plural of apolipoprotein. Apolitical, having no interest or involvement in politics. Apoliticality, the quality of being apolitical. Apolitically, done without political affiliation. Apoliticals, plural of apolitical. Apoliticism, apolitical behavior. Apoliticisms, plural of apoliticism. Apolizumab, a humanized monoclonal antibody being studied as a treatment for hematologic cancers. Apollon, Apollo, the son of Zeus. Apollinaran, alternative form of Apollinarian. Apollinarian, of or relating to Guillaume Apollinaire 1880-1918, French writer and art critic. Apollinarian, a follower of Apollinaris, bishop of Laodicea in the 4th century, who denied the proper humanity of Christ. Apollinarianism, Apollinarism. Apollinarians, plural of Apollinarian. Apollinaris, a type of sparkling mineral water. Apollinaris water, an effervescent alkaline mineral water used as a table beverage obtained from a spring in Apollinarisburg, a hill near Bonn. Apollinarism, the Christological theology that Jesus' mind was only divine and not human, condemned as a heresy at the First Council of Constantinople. Apollinian, alternative form of Apollonian relating to Apollo. Apollo, the son of Zeus and Leto, or Jupiter and Latona, and the twin brother of Artemis or Diana. He was the god of light, music, medicine, and poetry, and prophecy, dance, manly beauty, and more. Apollo's belt. The iliac furrows. Apollo's belts. Plural of Apollo's belt. Apollon. Synonym of Apollo. Apollonia. A female given name from ancient Greek. Apollonian. Of or relating to the ancient Olympian Greek god Apollo. Apollonian circle. Any circle in two families of circles such that every circle in the first family intersects every circle in the second family orthogonally, and vice versa. Apollonian circles. Plural of Apollonian circle. Apollonian gasket. A fractal generated from triples of circles where each circle is tangent to the other two. Apollonian gaskets. Plural of Apollonian gasket. Apollonian net. Apollonian gasket. Apollonian nets. Plural of Apollonian net. Apollonians. Plural of Apollonian. Apollonic. Of or relating to the mythological Apollo. Apollonican. A particular type of barrel organ that also had a keyboard. Apollonicans. Plural of Apollonican. Apollonistic. Synonym of Apollonian relating to the god Apollo. Apollodius. A male given name of historical usage. Apollos. Plural of Apollo. Ahalet. The destroying angel of the abyss, the undoer or disintegrator. Ahalene. Of or pertaining to Apollyon. Apollo 10. Apologist, one who speaks or writes in defense of a faith. Apollar. Alternative form of apologue. Apollohel. Relating to an apologue. Apology. One that receives an apology. Apologies. Plural of apology. Apologer. A teller of apologues. Apologers. Plural of apologer. Apologete. An apologist. Apologetic. Having the character of apology. Regretfully excusing. Apologetic apostrophe. An apostrophe added to a Scots word in order to give the appearance that it is a contraction of an English word. Apologetic apostrophes. Plural of apologetic apostrophe. Apologetic proverb. Synonym of Wellerism. Apologetic proverbs. Plural of apologetic proverb. Apologetical. Apologetic. Apologetically. In an apologetic manner, by way of defense, apology, or excuse. Apologeticism. An instance of the use of apologetics. Apologeticisms. Plural of apologeticism. Apologetic. Obsolete form of apologetic. Apologeticness. The quality of being apologetic. Apologetics. The field of study concerned with a systematic defense of a position or of religious or occult doctrines. Apologia. A written defense of a position or belief. Apology. Plural of apologia. Apologian. Apologist, one who makes an apologia. Apologians. Plural of apologian. Apologias. Plural of apologia. Apological. Relating to an apologue. Apology. Archaic spelling of apology. Apologies. Plural of apology. Apologize. Non-Oxford British English standard spelling of apologize. Apologized. Simple past and past participle of apologize. Apologizer. Non-Oxford British English standard spelling of apologizer. Apologizers. Plural of apologizer. Apologizes. Third person singular simple present indicative of apologize. Apologizing. Present participle and gerund of apologize. Apologizings, plural of apologizing. Apologism, a defense or excuse, a speech or written answer made to justify someone. Apologisms, plural of apologism. Apologist, one who makes an apology. Apologists, plural of apologists. Apologizable, capable of being apologized for. Apologization, action of apologizing, apology. Apologize, to make an apology or excuse, to acknowledge some fault or offense with expression of regret for it, by way of amends. Apologized, simple past and past participle of apologize. Apologizer, agent noun of apologize, one who apologizes. Apologizers, plural of apologizer. Apologizes. Third person singular simple present indicative of apologize. Apologism, pronunciation spelling of apologizing. Apologizing, present participle and gerund of apologize. Apologizingly, apologetically. Apologizings, plural of apologizing. Abalar, a short story with a moral, often involving talking animals or objects. A fable. Apologues, plural of apolog. Apology, an expression of remorse or regret for having said or done something that harmed another, an instance of apologizing saying that one is sorry. Apollonia, a barangay of Paranas, Samar, Philippines. Apolobio, a surname from Spanish. Apolomio Sanson, a barangay of Quezon City, Metro Manila, Philippines. Apolobios, plural of apolomio. Abals, apologies. Abalunar, of or relating to the apalun. Apalun, the point of an elliptical lunar orbit where the distance between the satellite and the moon is at its maximum. Apollons, plural of Apollon. Apollized, modified by apollysis. Apollysin, an antipyretic related to phenacetin. Apollysis, the separation of the cuticula from the epidermis in arthropods and related groups. Apolytic, relating to apollysis. Apolitikia, plural of apolitikian. Apolitikian, a troparion chanted at Orthodox Christian worship services, summarizing the feast being celebrated that day. Apomcometer, an instrument for measuring the heights of buildings, etc. Apomcometers, plural of apomcometer. Apomdication, the non-medical use of a material, typically cannabis, that also has a medical use. Apomiosis, plural of apomiosis. Apomiosis, a suppressed or imperfect meiosis. Apostatic, relating to apomiosis. Apomhaloprotein, the form of a metalloprotein that lacks the coordinated metal atom. Apomtaloproteins, plural of apomtaloprotein. Apomic, any apomictic plant or organism. Apomictic, of, pertaining to, or characterized by apomixis. Apomictically, by means of apomixis. Apomix, plural of apomic. Apomine, synonym of apomorphine. Apomixis, plural of apomixis. Apomixis, plant reproduction without fertilization. Apomixy, alternative form of apomixis. Apomimiopsin, the apoprotein of meniopsin. Apomorph, an organism existing in an evolutionary state that represents a morphological change as compared to a previous state. Apomorphia, apomorphine, apomorphic, distinguishing an organism or taxon from others that share the same ancestor. Apomorphically, in an apomorphic manner. Apomorphies, plural of apomorphy. Apomorphine, a crystalline morphine derivative that is a dopamine agonist used as an emetic and is injected subcutaneously in the form of its hydrochloride CH2HCl1/2H2O to treat episodes of immobility associated with advanced Parkinson's disease. Apomorphines, plural of apomorphine. Apomorphism, the dual of a paramorphism. Apomorphisms, plural of apomorphism. Apomorphous, apomorphic. Apomorphs, plural of apomorph. Apomorphy, a derived characteristic of a clade, any feature novel to a species and its descendants. Apomucin, the apoprotein of a mucin. Apomucins, plural of apomucin. Adhemyoglobin, a form of myoglobin that lacks a heme unit. Apomixis, alternative spelling of apomixis. Initialism of ATM asynchronous transfer mode passive optical network. Aponcrosis, a form of apoptosis that is inhibited prior to completion. Aponcrotic, relating to aponcrosis. Aponeurectomies, plural of aponeurectomy. Aponeurectomy, the excision of an aponeurosis. Aponeurology, the study of aponeuroses. Aponeuroses, plural of aponeurosis. Aponeurosis, a flat and pearly white fibrous membrane taking the place of a tendon that binds together and forms the terminations and attachments of muscles or connects them to other body parts like skin or bone. Aponeurosporin, a carotenoid that plays a role in the photosynthetic process of some bacteria. Aponeurotic, of or pertaining to an aponeurosis. Aponeurotically, in an aponeurotic manner. Aponeurotomies, plural of aponeurotomy. Aponeurotomy, dissection of aponeuroses. An alcoholic drink of northeast India made from fermented rice. Aponia, the absence of pain considered as a state of spiritual serenity. Aponegrican, a popsis around a black hole. Apota, a barangay of San Carlos, Pangasinan, Philippines. Aponogten, any plant of the genus Aponogten. Aponogtenaceous, of or relating to the Aponogtanaceae. Aponogtens, plural of Aponogten. A surname. Abunce, plural of apont. On the poop, astern. The Norwegian musical group Apoptygma Berserk. Toba, a city in San Salvador Department, El Salvador. Apopen, an enzyme that catalyzes the proteolytic degradation of PARP. Apopumstic, pertaining to departing, farewell, valedictory. Apopumtics, plural of apopumter. Apophilus, having distinct or free petals. Apophilation, the biting off of the penis that occurs in some animals and mollusks during or after mating. Apophanes, exhibiting or relating to apophony. Apophantech, involving a declaration, statement, or proposition. Apophany, alternative form of apophenia. Apophases, plural of apophoses. Apophoses, an allusion to something by denying that it will be mentioned. Apophatic, pertaining to knowledge of God obtained through negation rather than positive assertions. Apophatically, in an apophatic way, using apophoses. Apophatism, a theory of approaching knowledge of God through negative rather than positive assertions. Apophatisms, plural of apophatism. Aurenia, the perception of or belief in connectedness among unrelated phenomena. Aurenias, plural of apophenia. Apophanic, of or relating to apophenia. Apophian, of or relating to Apophis. Apophis, an evil snake god who tries to devour the sun every night. Apophlegmatic, designed to facilitate discharges of phlegm or mucus from the mouth or nostrils. Apophlegmatics, plural of apophlegmatic. Apophlegmatism, the action of apophlegmatics. Apophlegmatisms, plural of apophlegmatism. Apophonic, of, pertaining to, or characterized by apophony. Apophonically, in an apophonic manner. Apophonies, plural of apophony. Apophony, modification of an internal vowel sound in a word or linguistic root, especially so as to establish a lexical distinction. Apophthegm, alternative spelling of apophthegm. Apophthegmatic, alternative form of apophthegmatic. Apophthegmatical, alternative form of apophthegmatical. Apophthegmatically, alternative form of apophthegmatically. Apophthegmatize, alternative form of apophthegmatize. Apophthegmatized, simple past and past participle of apophthegmatize. Apophthegmatizes, third person singular simple present indicative of apophthegmatize. Apophthegmatizing, present participle and gerund of apophthegmatize. Apophthegmatist, alternative form of apophthegmatist. Apophthegmatists, plural of apophthegmatist. Apophthegmatize, alternative form of apophthegmatize. Apophthegmatize, simple past and past participle of apophthegmatize. Apophthegmatizes, third person singular simple present indicative of apophthegmatize. Apophthegmatizing, present participle and gerund of apophthegmatize. Apophthegms, plural of apophthegm. Apophyety, a curvature found on the top or bottom of certain columns. Apophyges, plural of apophage. Apophyli, any of several forms of a pale pink or green mineral being a mixed fluoride and silicate of potassium and calcium. Apophylites, plural of apophylite. Apophilus, having the perianth or other segments free, not united. Apophyseal, alternative form of apophysal. Apophysary, alternative form of apophysal. Apophysate, possessing an apophysis. Apophize, apophysis. Apophysal, of or pertaining to an apophysis. Apophizes, plural of apophize. Aphysio, alternative form of apophysal. Apophysis, a natural outgrowth, swelling or enlargement, usually of an organism, a protuberance on a bone. Apophysitis, inflammation of an apophysis, a bony tubercle. Apophy, any native plant growing in disturbed land, such as in an abandoned field. Apophytes, plural of apophyte. Apophytochrome, the apoprotein of a phytochrome. Apophytochromes, plural of apophytochrome. Apophthegm, a city in Orange County, Florida, United States. Apoplasm, the fluid in an apoplast. Apoplasme, relating to apoplasm. Apoplast, the space outside of a plant's plasma membrane through which water and soluble nutrients are transported across a tissue or organ. Apoplastic, of or pertaining to an apoplast. Apoplastically, via an apoplast. Apoblasts, plural of apoplast. Apoplectic, of or relating to apoplexy. Apoplectical, alternative, form of apoplectic. Apoplectically, in an apoplectic manner. Apoplectics, plural of apoplectic. Apoplectiform, of or resembling apoplexy. Apoplex, obsolete form of apoplexy. Apoplex, affected with apoplexy. Apoplexes, plural of apoplex. Apoplexic, of, relating to, or showing the features of apoplexy. Apoplexy, obsolete spelling of apoplexy. Apoplexies, plural of apoplexy. Apoplexing, simple past and past participle of apoplex. Apoplexy, unconsciousness or incapacity resulting from a cerebral hemorrhage or stroke. Apoposidia, plural of apoposidian. Apoposidian, apopsis around Neptune. Apoptosis, misspelling of apoptosis. Apoprotein, the polypeptide part of a conjugated protein. For example, an apolipoprotein plus a lipid particle yields a lipoprotein. Apoproteins, plural of apoprotein. Apoprotinin, misspelling of aprotein. Apoptin, a short, non-structural viral protein encoded by chicken anemia virus. Apoptogen, any chemical substance that induces apoptosis. Apoptogenic, that produces apoptosis. Apoptogenicity, the condition of being apoptogenic. Apoptogens, plural of apoptogen. Apoptolidin, a macrolide that has some antitumor effects. Apoptotic, misspelling of apoptotic. Apoptose, to cause the cell to undergo apoptosis.